What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's episode of the Vandalia Cinema Project. My name is Bobby, and I'm joined by my co-host Trenon this evening.
Hey, how you doing?
Join us in this week's episode as we're going to be talking about one of the best movies of all time, Interstellar. We've cooked something good for you this week.
This is Interstellar's plot synopsis that I found. It's in Earth's future, a global crop blight and a second dust bowl are slowly rendering the planet uninhabitable. Professor Brand, played by Michael Caine, a brilliant NASA physicist, is working on plans to save mankind by transporting Earth's population to a new home via a wormhole. But first, Brand must send former NASA pilot Cooper, Matthew McConaughey, and a team of researchers through the wormhole and across the galaxy to find out which of three planets could be mankind's new home. That is the plot in summary, I suppose, but I don't think it really grabs the essence of the movie at all.
I agree with you. Just for fun, I pulled up the critics' consensus here on Rotten Tomatoes, and it says Interstellar represents more of a thrilling, thought-provoking, and visually resplendent filmmaking moviegoers have come to expect with writer-director Christopher Nolan, even if its intellectual reach somewhat exceeds its grasp. Interesting.
That is interesting. That is interesting. Um, let's talk about the trailer. We just watched the trailer, and after, it's kind of funny. We're watching the trailer after we watched the movie. I feel like that's a.
Yeah. I like doing that.
I think
like
it's a
hitting
good way to tell if the trailer's good,
Yes. I think I
especially for
agree
an old
because
movie.
yeah, but sometimes if I watch the trailer beforehand, not only will it ruin the movie, but I don't know in what ways it ruins the movie. So then it kind of takes the fun out of me actually watching the movie whenever I get the experience, because I have seen trailers before, and then it gets to the climax. I'm like, oh, I already saw this. Cool. So
Yes.
I think that watching it after gives me a cleaner take on it, and I'm able to form a better opinion. So we watched this trailer a little bit ago. What did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good in the sense that I didn't see very many spoilers. However, one of my problems with trailers is it will get your vibes off.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think this movie, the trailer, I think the vibe kind of gave it more of an actiony feel than
Mm-hmm.
it probably needed to. I wouldn't define this movie as an action movie,
Mm-hmm.
but just by watching the trailer, I would think that.
I get what you mean in a way. Like I think there's so much more to Interstellar than what any trailer, even like description, like we read earlier, can show you. That
Yeah.
I kind of like that about the trailer whenever I watched it. It adds that level of like mystery to it. Um, the trailer's super surface level. Um, very much there was a YouTube comment. All Act One scenes, pretty much, I think, for the most part.
Pretty much. There was just a few Act 2, but I would say definitely all pre-midpoint scenes. Well,
Yes.
there there technically were scenes from Act 3, but they share the same location as Act 1, and you just wouldn't even. I don't even
You'd
think you
have
would
no.
really, you
No.
wouldn't. Yeah, you
Mm-mm.
have no frame of reference. So I actually um,
And a lot of the trailer too. Go ahead.
something very interesting about the trailer that we will talk about in the spoiler moment. But I'm curious to see if you will bring it up. Just remind me when we get to the spoiler review, and I will let you in on a little secret I'm keeping. So Stay tuned
Yep.
for that.
Yep. Yeah, overall, really enjoyed the trailer. Um, there was something else I was going to add, but I'm kind of blanking right now. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was nice. I really liked it. I remember what I was going to say. A lot of the trailer takes place within the first like 20 minutes of movie. There's a strong chunk of the trailer that is just the first little bit. And it's kind of cool the way it was spun that way, I thought. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the trailer review, I believe.
I forgot to mention one last thing. There is a scene in the trailer that's not in the movie, which is just kind of weird.
Ah, yes, them holding hands in the field.
Holding hands, watching a rocket take off. That's not,
Yep.
as far as I know,
Not even close to in the movie.
I don't think I don't think anything similar is in the movie at all.
No.
I don't know if that's a deleted scene. I don't know if there's an extended edition out there somewhere that I've never seen. But even conceptually, I don't think that scene actually makes sense from what I understand about the world that this movie takes place in.
Yep, completely agree. But I won't say anything. We'll get to that in the spoiler review.
Yep.
I don't want to spoil it too much. Okay. So, does that take us to our spoiler-free?
Yeah,
the context.
Yeah,
okay.
I'd like to hear what you have to say first. I think.
So, I think getting into the spoiler-free review and my personal takes on Interstellar, I touched on a little bit earlier, and I actually like wrote a little bit because I want to be more concise about this. I love Interstellar so much. Once again, to me, Interstellar is a movie about sacrifice. It's about a father's love in his children. It's about being something greater than man, even in the face of your own humanity and mortality. It's a single man and mankind's struggle with time, which is something I think a lot of us can relate to. I really do love this movie with my whole heart and soul. It makes me feel something every single time I watch it. I won't say it makes me feel something different because I almost wrote that down. I think impressively enough, it makes me feel the same thing every single time I watch it. It just makes me feel. It's a wonderfully beautiful movie. And more so every time that I watch it, I realize that it's not even beautiful in the sense of visuals. It definitely is. I think it's beautiful in a lot of different ways. There's not that many movies that I think are good all through 3 acts. This is a movie with a 3-hour runtime. Act 1 is excellent. Act 2 is excellent. Act 3 is excellent. I don't think there's much dry in this movie, especially with that amount of runtime. It flies by every time I watch it. If you've never seen this movie, you have to watch it. I think it's inexcusable. This is like a must-watch movie. And if you've never seen it, set aside your assumptions. It's not just another space movie. It's easy to think that maybe, but it's not. It's really far from it, I think, in a lot of ways. It's beautiful, even on the surface level. Like you had mentioned earlier, it is actiony. It has some action. It has some drama. There's a little bit of humor scattered through it. It's somehow a space movie and an apocalypse movie. And I think it also has some horror and suspense elements in it. Some parts of this movie make me feel weird. It's almost eerie sometimes. And I think it's meant to do that slightly, but it handles it really well. And pretty much all the characters are really excellently written and relatable. I'd love to talk about that later. The actors in this movie, this cast is star-studded, which is really funny. I mean, it's all throughout. But they're played so well. The characters are played excellently, and they do make you feel what they're feeling. And I think it just translates really well from the screen to me every single time I watch it. I just love it. I can't go on about it enough.
Very, very good. I enjoyed that. I'm very glad you, or maybe I'm not very glad. I like that you said it is an apocalypse movie, because I thought that too watching it, and I thought I was, really super smart guy. And I was like, wow, I've made an observation about Interstellar, and the 6 reviews I watched today also called it an apocalypse movie, and I was like, man, I don't know if I just didn't think about it the first 7-8 times I watched the movie, but this time I watched it and I was like, This is kind of set in the future post-apocalyptic world, and
Yep.
that's a good review. I was going to write something down, and then all of my technical difficulties, I just ended up not to. So I think I'm going to just off the dome it.
Mm-hmm.
Interstellar is 2001: A Space Odyssey if it had the heart and soul of a love story. And it could have only came into existence under the control of a complete auteur such as Christopher Nolan, who it's kind of a joke that every movie he makes is just about how much he loves and misses his family at all times. And it really comes together here. For somebody who prides themselves in practical effects, low usage of CGI, and technical practical brilliance. You know, a lot of people hate on Christopher Nolan because he doesn't really have any style. His style is more or less perfection, technical perfection. He wants a classical clean. You know, he doesn't have a style, and that's his style. You know, I don't know if I always agree with that, but for him to do a space movie and just knock it out of the park this way, the cinematography, some of the best you've ever seen. Acting, almost too good for no reason. Screenplay, excellently written. Great runtime. I could watch it longer. I think it is so culturally significant, yet underrated at the same time. It came at a very weird time for Nolan's career, and for it to be the second lowest rated movie of his, it just makes me really confused. I think this is an underrated masterpiece that really deserves to be watched again. Have a kid, watch it after that. Let your kid grow up a few years and then watch it again. And I think you will feel something different. It'll be the same thing, but you'll feel it differently. You'll feel it stronger. I think this is a great movie.
Yeah, you touched on it some. It makes me sick. It disgusts me how people portray and think about this movie.
Oh,
And you and I have talked about this for
yeah.
literally years.
We will get into it big time, I imagine.
Yes, I hate it, man. But I think that is the spoiler-free synopsis pretty much. I have a fun fact to contribute. I know I wrote one down. Okay, never mind. I'm out of order. We'll cut that. Sorry. I was looking at the wrong thing.
Okay.
I was like, why did I put that first? Okay.
I got your list pulled up. I ain't gonna be the one to mess it up.
That's fair. So yeah, I think we'll just keep on talking about.
We'll just get into it.
Spoiler-free review. Hang, I do want to say some things. Wait, before that, so I think that you and I do think a lot of similar things about this movie.
For
I
sure.
think that we both. I like that you said it was like, I don't remember exactly how you phrased it, but I like how you talked about it being like 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Yes.
But like a love story almost? Is that how you worded that?
I said it's 2001 if it had the heart and soul of a love story.
Yes. I really, really like that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot, I mean, of course, but there's a lot of that emotional pull in this movie. And I think that's what gets me about it every time. I couldn't agree with you more with that. And there is a lot of similarities to 2001 even.
I know. Are you glad that this is both of ours first watch since we've watched 2001 Space Odyssey?
Yeah, that is very true. We have. And
I was actually shocked. I was like, wow, this movie is at some points heavily inspired. And then I was also just like, wow, Stanley Kubrick 80 years in the past is, or 70 years in the past is as brilliant as, as modern age,
Right.
you know?
It's It's crazy. 2001 was 70 years ago. Is that the truth? Is that real?
1960. No, I'm stupid. Leave it in. 50 years ago, but
Okay, that's
you
still
know
crazy. That's
that is still
insane.
crazy. But I don't know why I thought it was 70 years ago. That's my bad.
Well, we're getting there. It's fine. I think that too, a similarity that I remembered in your little piece about it was that you talked about the way it made you feel.
Yeah,
And I think that's just such a big thing for this movie for me. Again,
I
like I said, it just makes me feel every single time, and I feel every character. I feel tension. I think it does that extremely well. And there's even some stuff that we'll talk about here in a little while with individual characters and scenes that it just makes me feel it, even if it's not related to like the main story. I think it's just portrayed so well, the feelings in this movie.
hmm yeah, I agree. I'd like to get into the spoiler review and tell you what I really think.
All right, let's hit the spoiler review then. Let's get into it a little bit meatier.
Let's just start. So spoilers from here on out. I'm gonna ruin this fucking movie for you, straight up. You know, there will not be a stone left unturned. I'm about to get immediately gonna get into it. Spoiling the end of the movie. First sentence right here. The
You and
opening.
I had the same thing.
The opening scene. Murph goes, "I thought you were my ghost," and I was just
Yep.
like, "Oh my god, oh my god."
Yep.
But I'm gonna back it up a little bit. Nolan, I don't know if you know this. Once again, just about how Nolan is as a director. He's a very classical director. I feel like some movies, even if you go, like, whenever I took a film class in college, in like a screenwriting class, the first thing you write isn't an opening scene. They call it the opening image, okay?
Right.
Now, I feel like most movies, like we talked about Back to the Future, it's showing all the clocks, okay? But it's not static. It exists immediately in the world because Marty walks into the room, right?
Right.
So it shows the clock, it pans to all kinds of things. It just blends into the opening scene, okay? Nolan will just put an image on the screen with no context and just goes, "Here you go. Figure it out.
Yep.
This is going to be very important." And you'll have no
Yep.
idea how important it is. And it'll fade to black, and then the movie starts. And
Yep.
he is maybe the modern day king of this. I'm not sure. Most notably, I've seen him do it in The Prestige. I'm willing to bet you've never seen that. We will get to it.
I have not.
Unfortunately, we'll get it into it 20 episodes from now, so that way we don't stack Nolan up too much. But
Right.
so I just liked the dusty bookshelf is the opening image. The
Yep.
bookshelf means so much to this movie. The dust means so much to the movie. I don't even know. Maybe the watch is in the scene. I have no idea because it's just an image. Okay,
Right.
so that's how I started writing about it, because just immediately that followed by Cooper's Nightmare, which
Yep.
is maybe an underrated scene on multiple watch throughs. I don't know if I really thought about it that much before.
Yep. I completely agree. I think that this was the time that I noticed, kind of like you're talking about, especially with the opening. Nolan, and I don't know, I've seen a lot of Nolan movies, but I don't soak movies up the same way that you do. Nolan loves ruining his movies, though. In the first, like, if you know what you're looking for and you pay attention to it, those opening scenes, it's so awesome that there's so much stuff scattered throughout to pick up on. That, like,
He about makes
the
you look
first scene
silly.
is actually old Murph. The first thing that you see
Yes.
is the old movie,
Oh
the
my
old
God,
like Great
I'm
Depression level
so-
films.
Oh my
It is
God.
old Murph.
Yes.
And then the second thing you see is the bookshelf and the dust. And then the third thing is she says he's the ghost, and then he has the dream. That might as well be the whole movie. You could
Yes.
about sum up the whole movie with those 4 scenes. And
Yeah.
that's so cool.
It's
That's
crazy.
awesome.
It's
That's in
crazy.
the first 2 minutes of the movie.
Did you know that
It's
was Murph
insane to
just
do
by
that.
looking at her?
No, I didn't at all. But I do have some. I have something funny to say. This is just such a little blurb.
Okay.
I had my subtitles on.
Yes. Oh
to
my
start
God.
with,
That's
and it
what
ruined the
happened.
movie
That-
out of the gate. It
yes.
literally said "Old Murph." It was the first line, "Old Murph."
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Oh my God. I have the same exact thing written down. I could not believe it. Because, well,
I couldn't believe it.
this is my 8th, 9th, 10th time watching this movie. I did not know that was Old Murph. I did not know.
I don't know if I did either.
I had
Honestly,
no-
I don't know if I've ever like thought back that far towards
Because
the beginning of the movie.
none of the other people are named. Yeah, so we might edit something if you okay.
I can't-
Edit this to
I can't
pre
I might
spoiler.
throw up a picture of Old Murph.
I was gonna say, do not watch this movie with subtitles unless you want to get a huge plot point spoiled. That's actually crazy that we had the exact same experience. That cracked me up.
It was just the first thing I saw. I can't believe big fuck to Paramount Plus there that just ruined a beautiful movie if you've never seen it and you have subtitles on.
I
You'd
wonder,
spend the whole movie being like, damn, Murph's just old.
you would just be so confused. I wonder if you would catch it if you just was watching it for the first time.
Probably not. Too, because like you said, maybe it's cool that I had that experience because I don't know if I've ever like mentally registered that was Murph
I
at the start.
That led me down a rabbit hole that I was gonna say for the fun facts, but I'll go ahead and tell you now because it fits in to what we're talking about. One, I forgot about the documentary style of the first act. I forgot
Yes.
about that completely. It's almost out of place, and it's
Yep.
almost bizarre. I
Yep.
love it,
Yeah.
but it is very strange. It just shows up on Earth, and then we see it. We eventually see it again at the end. We do,
Mm-hmm.
but it is
We
just
do.
it is just weird. One, or the next thing, those are not actors, Bobby. Besides
Really?
Old Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
those are clips taken from a Ken Burn documentary from 2012 from Dust Bowl survivors.
Wow.
Is that
That's-
not the craziest thing?
That's crazy because that's exactly what it feels like. I was thinking, I was like, damn, this is some Ken Burns stuff.
Yeah, I read that fact today and I was like, oh
That's crazy.
my God. Because I was like, none of these other characters are named. Because I was like, maybe we see some of these other people. And no, that's not the case. So
I'm glad you said that too because I was wondering if one of them may have been Coop's son. I don't remember his name.
Tom.
Grown up Timothy Chalamet in the movie. I was wondering if one of
Casey
the old
Affleck.
dudes was. Yeah, I was wondering if he was one of the interviewees.
I
at the end.
thought the same thing. Only
I suppose
because
not though.
of the Old Murph. So the Old Murph subtitle reveal actually led me down a super interesting rabbit hole and did make me enjoy the movie just slightly less. So I mean slightly more, my bad. So I don't have too much of a complaint about that.
Yeah. I'll get a little bit back on it because I wanted to talk about, you mentioned the ghost thing. This movie talks about, again, with Nolan ruining his movies out of the gate, it literally says ghosts. I wish I had a counter. It probably 10 or 15 times, maybe not that much. I may be exaggerating, but the mention of ghost, poltergeist I have in here,
Yeah.
ghost. I'm not scared of the ghost.
I will
whatever.
fast
It
forward a
was
little bit.
all throughout.
Cooper even says one of his best lines in the movie is he says, "We just become the ghosts of our children's future,"
Yeah.
and he literally does. So I didn't realize how prevalent the ghost terms were, because even in space, they're saying it all the time. So,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
maybe not all the time, but they're saying it more than I thought before.
Yeah. I agree. I noticed the same thing. Yeah, and I have the same thing. Where his wife told him we're nothing but memories to our kids and ghosts of our children's future. And then like 4 seconds after that, maybe not even after that, it might not be the same scene. He says to Murph too, I can't be your ghost right now. Maybe that was at during the dream scene, but I do remember hearing that as well,
I don't think it
where I
was at
was
the
like,
dream
wow.
scene, but I'm not sure.
I believe that's a quote in the movie, and I thought that was interesting. But yes, I have the same thing written from um, memories to our kids and ghosts of our children's future.
Yeah, that's a good line. There's a lot of
You
good
know,
lines in this movie.
a ton of them, a ton of good quotes.
A
Um,
lot of good quotes.
I forgot this is just a random off the side take. I forgot Timothy Chalamet's in this movie. I think it's a pretty popular take,
I was
but I do
telling
forget it
Nick.
every time.
I was telling Nick today because I stopped and saw him, and I was like, "Yeah,
Hmm.
I got some hot things to say about this movie." I was like, including Timothy Chalamet, and he was like confused. He was like, what are you talking about?" I was like, he is Cooper's son. Before
He's
he
in
is
the movie.
before he's Timothy
Yep.
Chalamet, he's just a
Yep.
guy in this movie, and he acts really good. I won't
Hmm.
say I don't think he gets outshined heavily by young Murphy,
Hmm.
um, to a point where I thought maybe she could deserve an Oscar as a child actor.
I agree. I
Um,
I do agree. I have a complaint. I'll say this to try to remember it later because I didn't write this down, and I don't want to get into any complaints about this in this section. But I do have something to say about his character, Coop's son. And we
okay,
can get to
yeah.
that here in a little while.
Um,
Um, you go ahead.
this is just for fun. What year do you think this movie is set in?
Um, I'll let me try to give you an intelligent answer because I thought an interesting scene. There's a couple of good scenes that I like in this movie, and it's of the grandpa.
Yeah.
It's actually I didn't never realize that was Coop's wife's dad,
Yes.
but he's on the
Which I
porch
like. I
and they're
like that a
talking.
lot.
Yes, I like that a lot too. But they're on the porch and they're talking, and the dad said, "Whenever I grew up, they were making new stuff every single day."
Yeah.
Right? He said,
Yes.
I remember that whenever I was a kid. And then Coop
He says we were.
also got some of that,
He says we
but
were too
he,
busy fighting over food or something.
yeah, well, yes. But then he also said to Coop he was born either 40 years early or 40 years too late.
Yeah.
There's not any kind of like crazy technology in this world. So
No,
it's
not
funny. I would
really.
just have to
Well, I
imagine
disagree.
this takes place in. Well, okay, yeah, I maybe agree
I
with
actually
you.
super disagree
I
because
don't know. I'd be curious to know what you're gonna say.
two of the best characters in this movie are strange robots.
Well, okay, but we're not that far away from that. I don't think. I would if I were just to take a spitball, knowing that I don't think we're in the year 2100 yet. I would guess 2080 to 2090. I
Uh,
think the world is ending. We're running out of food,
you're
etc.
I could see that because the only other thing I could point to where they kind of allude to a date is when the teacher is also I love this scene when the teacher's like, yeah, Murph was telling people about the
Yes.
Apollo missions. And
Yes.
Matthew McConaughey, ever since you told me about how he was just like, I'm gonna be cool, that's how I'm gonna base my acting, is I'm gonna just imagine my older brother being cool. That's how I see him all the time. He is just so cool every single time I see him in every single scene. And he like
Yep.
grabs his textbook and he has like his tongue in his lip. He went, my old textbook. I used to love the Apollo missions. And big anti-moon denier movie.
Yep.
Don't
Yep.
don't come around here telling me as an American we did not go to the moon. It'll be a problem. But she says, I don't think we should focus on the wastefulness of the 20th century, which just like kind of makes me feel like,
Ooh.
you
Yeah, that's a
know,
good point.
I
That
don't
that does
I
date
don't
it.
I don't know if I would if I don't know if I would talk about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think I would say that. I think if you started talking to me about the 1960s, I in only 40 years, that's 100 years from now, I don't even know if I'd refer to it immediately as 100 years ago. I think I
Right.
would just say the 1960s. So
Right.
them saying the 20th century, this might be like the year 2125. Or I do like what you said, though, about it being like 2080, 2090. And I
Mm-hmm.
kind of just see that the technology hasn't advanced so far because there's so few resources and so few people to build
Right.
such a thing.
And that
Um,
is part of it too that they even note in the movie is like, and this is stuff that I noticed this time this watch was that Coop's wife died because they didn't have MRI machines. They stopped
yeah,
making them.
yeah,
They just
no
quit focusing on
militaries.
technology. Yep.
Yeah, it seems like no militaries. There's probably no planes. There's
Yep.
um, nobody is in India flying a drone.
He
Um,
said what 10 years? I think I have something written down about the drone.
yeah, they
That could be a
said
fun
he
fact later
says
too.
something like oh, probably went down the same as ours 10 years ago, and like the way he's talking, like I don't know if he means like government or military or satellites. I'm not sure what he means by. I might have just
What he
missed
means
it.
by that? Yeah.
You know.
Right. Um, but yeah, big. And I read something earlier too. This isn't exactly my point, but I don't remember where I got it from. It's interesting too that I noticed that with the teacher being a complete moon denier, and even Coop says he reinforces it while he's talking to the dad on the porch about how they used to look to the stars, but now they're being forced to look at the dirt
Mm-hmm.
and focus.
Very
And that's
great
part of the
line.
reason why they've put this the moon propaganda in is because they don't even want people to think of anything beyond I want to be a farmer, I want to work the land, you know. I don't have any hopes or dreams beyond that.
Yeah,
Um,
there's not
but
a
yeah, I thought
there's
that was
not
really interesting. Is the chud teacher?
yeah, there's not like and they don't even that's just one part of the movie, like a very small part, but it really just goes to show how effective. I'm not saying anything new here. This is just me talking to my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, that's just such simple propaganda. We never went to the moon. Don't even think about the moon. Why would you think about the
Right.
moon? We got
Yeah.
corn to farm, you know?
Yeah.
And
She even said, I mean, we bankrupted the Soviet Union by making them focus on building useless things. Makes perfect sense, you know, if you're gonna. It's such a good little piece of propaganda
catch
to
me on
throw
a
in there.
night, not talking about Interstellar. I might agree with her. I might say that myself.
Yep.
But right now, in the world of Interstellar, we went to the moon 48 times and we were planning to go again until the blight hit the mangoes. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. Completely agree. Um, I'll throw this in here too because I don't want to. I don't want to forget about it. I'm afraid I will. I was also reading earlier relating to the drone that apparently Nolan had more intentions for the drone whenever he first was writing this movie. And the intention was, and the main point of it was, that he was going to have the drone be the thing that sends the message back
That's
to
cool.
Murph, which is an interesting thought, but I'm so glad that didn't come to fruition. But
I don't
apparently
know
that's
how it
kind of
would have.
why I don't either, but
That would have
apparently
been
that's
kind of
kind of why the
wild seeing
drone
it.
scene, yes, remained in the movie, even though if you think about it, it's a little bit out of place. It just kind of is
I
out
don't
of
think so.
place.
I don't think so.
I agree
And I'm
that I
gonna
don't think so, just because too the combines.
yes,
I didn't
but
really realize that the combines were so. attracted to the house, which was the Tesseract. That clicked for me
The
with this watch
the
through.
anomaly.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. Every time I watch a
No,
movie to
I'm
analyze it, I think maybe I'm a big, huge dumbass. And
yeah,
I don't even
I
understand the point of the movie.
I guess my first 7 watch throughs of any movie, I just eat popcorn during it. I don't know.
Yes.
I thought the same
Yes.
thing. I know exactly why, and I was like, the drone. That's the same reason the drone did it, because
Yep.
they were like, why is the drone here? Yeah,
Makes perfect
it's just
sense.
doing the same thing. I
Yep.
I love this. So they pop the flat tire. They pop a flat,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
They start into the Murphy Law talk, which comes up a
Yep.
few times in the movie. Not as often as I almost would think, but it comes up a
I
few
like it
times.
every time, though. Yep. It's
I do like
awesome.
it every time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Timothy Chalamet, he's like, Murphy's Law, blah, 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 talking shit to his sister. And then Cooper's like, hey, it's not a bad thing. It's just anything that can happen will happen. Them
Yes.
popping the tire led to them chasing the drone. Chasing the
Hmm.
drone led to them first thinking about the gravity anomaly, made them late to school, made like that whole interaction a little bit more tense, got Murphy suspended from school, allowing her to go to NASA with Cooper because she wasn't at school, just setting off everything. Like
Hmm. I
it was like a
wow.
really big chain reaction of events, all from the tire being popped. And I don't even know if it was like necessarily. Well, I mean, they even say it's not. She couldn't switch gears. That wouldn't pop a tire. But it's
Right.
funny that it did get blamed on her by her brother.
Right.
But
Yep.
it led to a huge chain of events that changed a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep. I never even thought about that, and I have a note in here too in my little notes here that I do also like the way that this movie redefined Murphy's Law in the sense that what is meant to happen will happen.
Yeah,
It
because
is
I always thought it was
unchangeable.
bad things happen because they
Yes.
can.
Yeah, and that is very cool. And this whole movie is also riddled with that exactly. Um, Even towards the bookshelf scene at the end, where, again, where Coop is like, "This isn't the doing of anything else. This is just the doing of us," and everything fell into place exactly how it was supposed to happen, and it always will. I noticed this time in this watch. I don't want to get too far ahead because I'm sure you have more to say.
I agree. Yeah.
But it is kind of relating to this that the message that he left for Stay. I really got to thinking about that this time.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was like, I know that he writes that. Why would he do that? And then by the end of the movie, I forgot that that was just a complete emotional reaction
The
out
time's
of
not
him.
linear.
No,
You know,
no, no,
so
no. It's not at all. Yes. Yep.
so that was his first action, but it was like one of the ghost's last actions.
Yep.
So yeah, I thought about that too, because you know um and it's funny. Another funny enough, 2 time travel movies back to back. What are we doing?
Yep.
How did
Well,
this happen?
this is a time travel podcast.
This is the time travel back to the galaxy.
We'll do Inception next
That's
week.
so funny. Total Recall. But
Yeah.
yeah, he we'll get to that, but yeah, that's third act.
Mm-hmm.
Third act spoilers in the part 1 spoiler review.
No.
I'm gonna just put a pin in that and go to the next thing of just
Yep.
things I liked.
Yep.
I didn't even write down the cornfield chase just because
Mm-mm.
everybody knows.
Yep.
And
It's awesome.
I will say this goes to Nolan's credit. In a movie with like black hole jumping, wormhole hopping, beautiful alien planets, it's so funny that people's like, man, when they drove through a cornfield, that shit was tight. And
It is really funny.
it is just he's such a good director. I watched a little like behind the scenes of it, and like they actually did that. Matthew McConaughey, this is a fun fact, but it's relevant. He
Mm-hmm.
was living on that farm. I'll go ahead and say this other fun fact
Was
that
he?
everybody knows. Everybody knows
Uh-huh.
this. I've seen this on Twitter a million times. They wouldn't let Christopher Nolan just drop through a cornfield. He had to buy a cornfield and plant corn.
Yep.
And then he sold the corn for a profit.
Yep, I saw that. Went towards the movie budget.
Not telling anything you've never heard before. This is something I heard for the first time. So after they shot that scene, 2 days post-production, Matthew McConaughey is living on a trailer on that farm. And he takes the truck out and he's like, I'm going to drive through the fucking cornfield. 85 miles an hour driving through the cornfield, can't see anything. He said it was a blast. So I just thought that was cool.
That is so sick. Matthew McConaughey's, I love Matthew McConaughey. I got some shit in here about him too. Big Green Lights enjoyer. If you haven't read Green Lights, I'll do a fucking book cast on it right now. You need to read that shit. It's so good. But yes, I've never heard that before. Of course, he lived on the farm.
I thought the same thing. I went, yep.
That's awesome. Yep.
Cracked me up.
He is the coolest guy, maybe ever. Whatever the cool option is, he'll probably take it.
Yeah, because they were talking about like how they actually did that scene. They had like a stunt driver sit on top of the truck, and everybody inside the truck is just pretending to drive, and they like third person drove it. And then some stuntmen just drove for the scenes where you just see the truck. And then Matthew McConaughey was like, I just drove that. I just drove it. I was going crazy out there. I thought a scene that really shows how post-apocalypse it is when the New York Yankees are playing in a cornfield. Just like, and they don't even like, I love that the grandpa, which is a great actor. I wish I knew his name. It's like Jonathan Liggum or something.
I can look it up.
Look it up, because he's a great actor, known for his role in Dexter and a bunch of other things. John Lithgow.
Does that sound right?
That is it. He's a great actor. I love him. The first act of this movie is jam-packed with good actors.
It's awesome. It's star-studded. I said it earlier. It's insane how many great actors are in the first act of this movie. It doesn't even have Matt Damon in the first act of it.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up. I'll just go ahead and say it now. Matt Damon, not in the trailer of this movie, right?
Awesome. Yes.
Matt Damon was not. They did not let anybody know Matt Damon was in this movie until this movie came out.
I learned that earlier too.
It was a complete secret. I love that. I think they should do that for more movies. Many movies have been ruined. Spoiler warning for Angels and Demons with Tom Hanks, starring Tom Hanks. The sequel to the Da Vinci Code. The Da Vinci Code follows this too. So whenever you look at the poster for Angels and Demons, and if you watch the first 10 minutes of the movie, you're like, okay, Tom Hanks is the good guy, and I see the bad guy. He's in the first scene. Okay, and there's the girl that Tom Hanks will have like a little bit of romance with. Okay, there's a secret bad guy. Who is the second most paid actor on this movie? Okay, it's Ewan McGregor. I bet he's the bad guy, considering he's playing a side character right now.
Yep.
So many movies do that. You can predict the villain. If Matt Damon was on the poster, you would have been like, I haven't seen Matt Damon in fucking 2 hours of this whole movie. What's going on? You know?
Where is Matt Damon at? Yes.
Who is Matt Damon? And I love that they keep it a secret in the movie too, because they're like, yeah, Dr. Man. Here's a picture of him. We're not even gonna even try to zoom in.
Show you.
No, we're not even.
I noticed that too.
Michael Caine's gonna step in front of the fucking picture as soon as he mentions
the picture of Dr. Man, the best person ever,
the greatest human to ever live. Yeah, you do. You will not know who he is until until they rip him out of a bag.
They wake his ass up.
Back it up. Back it up. So, great actors in the first act. I just loved. They came home. Another great apocalypse song. It almost felt like how they're starting to show A Quiet Place. Like they're driving home and the dust storm's coming up and they're like masking up Mad Max style. and they're getting
Mm-hmm.
like they're trying to get home, and
Yes.
I just love how filthy their house is. It makes me like
Yes.
terrified of like the Dust Bowl.
Yes.
And they're inside
Um.
and they're like boarding the doors, and Matthew McConaughey Cooper's like, everybody shut their windows, and this girl she's acting her ass off. Like, she's such a good
Mm-hmm.
actor. She like has like a moment where she's like, yeah, I did. Oh no, I didn't. Oh fuck, I gotta go. Runs up there.
Yep.
And then we see the gravity anomaly. And I love the gravity mystery of this, and we will talk about it more.
It is awesome.
Everybody's complaint about this movie is that the math, they don't understand the math. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Gravity is mentioned 100,000 times in this movie.
Yep.
Professors are talking about how they're trying to solve gravity. Gravity is
Yep.
like one of the main themes of this movie. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost a magical ability. It is more prevalent than the Force in Star Wars: A New Hope. It is more prevalent than, like, I don't even know. I have no idea. It's like more clearly defined than the rules of the Mogwai in Gremlins. They talk about the math. You
You don't have to
I
understand
got
the
I
math
got
of it.
frustrated. So
That's Go ahead.
I just loved seeing how the gravity worked in the dust. Thought it was like oddly beautiful and
It's
very
so well
very
done.
interesting.
Yes, it is. It is so well done. There's a lot of hard concepts in this movie like that I think are expressed so simply and well that it adds so much simplicity, and that's the craziest part is people will say it's difficult to understand. A note that I have, word for word, it was right around this time in Act 1. This movie is so easy to understand. Realized this during the Combine scene. Murph literally says the bookshelf is talking or sending messages. It doesn't that's all you need to know. That's it.
That's
You
all you
don't need
need
to
to know.
understand the equation to gravity. You don't need to understand you don't need to understand anything.
I
It spoon feeds
I
it to you
get
almost.
that Nolan's movies are fairly high concept.
Yep.
He kind of gets a bad rap because he's like, everybody that gets in the movies, as soon as they get in the movies, they get into Nolan. Okay,
Yep.
he's like movie douchebag 101 favorite director. Okay, which sucks
Yep.
because he really is
No.
something special, because
He's
he
he's one of my favorite directors.
he's one of my favorites. He's
For
one of the
real.
last directors from like the days of old, in the sense of like, I'm gonna write the movie, I'm gonna direct the movie, I'm gonna produce the movie. You will see me all throughout the movie. My movie's gonna be weird because
Yep.
this movie's about how love can transcend space time. It's weird. All of his movies are high concept. This is not in his top 3 hardest to understand movies.
No.
It might not even be in his top 4. It ain't
Mm-mm.
Batman. Okay? It's a little bit
Right.
harder to understand than Batman. But compared to like The Prestige or Inception, like,
Uh huh.
it tells you so much.
Yes. I will say too. This movie is rated lower than Inception is. Right.
This is
It
his
is
second
for
worst rated
sure.
movie.
Yes. Okay. I
Now,
thought so.
I will say his worst rated movie is really hard to understand and very bizarre. It's Tenet.
I've heard of Tenet, never seen it.
Okay, I like it. I could
Mm-hmm.
not. You could not put a gun to my head and have me tell you what it's about and what it means. I just have no
Right.
clue. I'd love to. I'd love to talk about it one day. But
It has old Pattinson, doesn't it?
yes, sir. And
Okay. Thought so.
he is stellar.
Thought so. Okay. Sick. But yes, not a difficult movie to understand at all. I don't think we've talked about this for literally years. And I'll talk about it for f- I don't know, probably 10 more decades. It doesn't.
When
I'll
we get
always,
to read the reviews, we'll
yes,
really get
I'm gonna
into the
shit all over
specifics.
people. It's insane the hate that this movie gets. A little just blurb that I have right before I think we get into probably around where we have similar notes. And you kind of talked about it with the dust storm. in the town where they're masked up and everything after the baseball game. I love the sound in this movie. And I
It's
think it's
amazing.
something that Nolan always has good music with Hans Zimmer and everything, and that's separate. The sound in
Mm.
this movie is good. The dust storm truck scene, it sounds like the spaceship scene at the end of the movie.
Oh
I'm
wow.
cheating a little bit because I did get reference to that earlier today, but I noticed it in the movie after I had read that, and it is true. The grittiness of it and the individual particles of the dust hitting the truck, like striking the metal of the truck, it is so similar to the black hole scene
Yeah.
at the
Okay.
end.
I did it.
It's awesome.
I didn't catch it, but now that you're telling me, I 100% believe you, and I can imagine it, and it feels
Yes,
the same.
it's so cool.
And both
Two
scenes,
with
he's just
this.
trying to get home, just
Yep,
trying
I
to get
have
home.
a. Yep, I have a lot. I have another blurb on the sound here in a bit, but I think it's some of the stuff in Act towards the end of Act 1 or into Act 2 that we can get into. We had mentioned Michael Caine too. Michael Caine's such a cool character in this movie. Plays a huge part, but doesn't get that much screen time.
Yeah.
Like is one of the main like driving forces of the movie if you're just thinking about it from the universal perspective, but doesn't get a ton of screen time, which is also sick because I
Well,
love that because
funny
it's
that
Michael Caine and it's not like it's focused on him all the time.
funny enough, that
Um,
summary I read earlier,
mhm.
it kind of makes it sound like the movie's about him. You know what I mean?
It you could almost say that, and it almost does feel like that a little bit. I think that there's a lot that you could really analyze and like dig into with his character. I have on here that he's like, especially in Act 1, he's sheepish and bashful,
He
and
is.
he gives off through the whole introductory part of the movie that he's hiding something, and I
Yeah.
think that's visible. He's very strange and he's like
Hello,
reserved and
Cooper.
he's yes, and that's all throughout Act 1, and it gets revealed later. It turns out he is hiding something, but he plays it so well, and I mean Michael Caine just kind of is always capable of playing like a very intellectual, kind of
He's
sweet
goaded.
but mysterious guy. Anyway, yes, he's the best ever. Um, but I think he's played such an interesting role in this movie, and even then we'll get to it later more. But the guilt that he carries throughout the movie and has to, and even throughout where he's just has to be so worried about failing, and he's trying to do the impossible. Every single day he's been working at this. I think he's such a
I'll
cool
I'll
little
expand
piece
on
of this
this
movie.
more later, but just start thinking about how similar him and Cooper are.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
so
Um.
I love this is just a small thing.
Mhm.
I love this so much just as a concept that I've tried to put it in stories of my own.
Mhm.
I think it's such an interesting thing that it could be a story all by itself. I love how they find NASA, and
Mhm.
NASA has turned into a secret society,
Mm.
for lack of terms. It is underground. It is a secret government operation, and nobody knows about it. And I love how they
Yep.
describe it. You're sitting in the world's best kept secret right now.
Yep.
And it's not, like people in today's world, the world's kept secret would be like sitting in a UFO in
Right.
somewhere, or something scandalous and nefarious. But in this world, it's a bunch of dorks.
Mhm.
And I love that they are referenced as dorks, nerds, losers, in over their heads,
Right.
not field tested, Boy Scouts. Like they're just like dorks trying to keep it going. I
Yep.
love that. I thought that was so
Yep.
cool the first time I saw it. Um, I love that whole scene of them breaking into NASA, the introduction to the robot TARS. Um,
Mhm.
Cooper, this is another great bit of just a little Matthew McConaughey acting. I would
Mhm.
imagine that he has seen like a lot of police interrogation videos where people are like on drugs, because he's like sprawled out on the table.
Yes.
He's like, please just tell me about my daughter. He's like
Yep.
spazzing out. He's scared of the robot, and he calls him ex-marine. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just cool, thinking about how the military in this world was robots. These really weird,
Right.
which is also, these robots are also a 2001 Space Odyssey reference, because they are the
Yes.
monoliths.
Yep.
And
Ooh, I didn't
also,
even think about that. I knew
yeah,
they
but,
were.
and they act like Hal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Very cool. Um,
It's
I I thought about that without even Googling it. And I Googled it and got confirmed later. I was like, wow. So I felt good about that.
that is pretty
Um,
sick. You mentioned Tars. Just a quick. It's cool that Tars is he evolves as a character too, the robot literally, because he starts off with McConaughey so distrustful you don't even trust him for the
oh,
first little
he's
bit
how
of the
people
movie.
act like R2D2 is. He's
Yes.
he's like a better R2D2, which I
Yep.
think this movie is inspired by Star Wars a good bit. There's like a couple times where the spaceship's flying by, and I'm like, Luke Skywalker, you know?
Yep.
The
I
ending scene
agree.
is very like Empire Strikes Back, where Tars
Mm-hmm.
and Cooper steal an X-wing. I thought that was really cool too.
Yep. That is pretty sick.
We get
Do
introduced to
you?
Anne Hathaway at NASA too,
Yes.
and I thought I heard a joke from Red Letter Media. Shout out Red Letter Media. In their plot summary,
Mm-hmm.
they're snarky, and they were like, they go to a bunch of planets where Anne Hathaway overreacts on them, and I just thought that was hilarious. But
That is fun.
I really like her acting, because she's top nerd, and she's always in over her head, and she's
Yep.
scared most of the movie.
Yep. I agree. I think she did good. I think that it was a good side little plot of her love for one of the other astronauts that was stranded.
Yes.
I don't even think I have a note on that, but I want to talk about that here in a little bit too, because that's, I think, a big part that I didn't pay attention to before. But yeah, Anne Hathaway, I think she kills it in this movie. I do. I think that she does a good job at playing like a secondary role in it. Like I don't think she ever like outshines. Um, Definitely not McConaughey.
Every
Really
time
anybody
she
else.
shines, she's making McConaughey go another level.
Yes, she compliments him very well in this
I
movie.
agree.
They're
Yeah.
very yes. Um, I have a question for you real quick, and this is just like a fun little thought experiment. And this is the point of the movie where I wrote down, do you think anyone could have played Coop better than McConaughey?
Oh man, it's
I
crazy because he's not even. They kind of want to portray him. He's a really weird character
yes.
because he's a father. That's the
Yep.
most important part, and I've learned that when casting him, that's what Nolan was really after, which I love.
Interesting. Yep.
Two, he's a top ace combat fighter pilot. Not combat,
Mm-hmm.
but he's like, I'm the world's best motherfucking pilot. I'm Top Gun
Yeah.
Maverick, you know?
He was the
Three,
man.
I'm super duper smart engineer man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Very weird combination. But no, I can't imagine anybody else, because like his accent, his like southern hick accent,
Yes.
his his demeanor, just how McConaughey can talk quietly. This is
Yep.
right coming off of True Detective also. I don't know if you know
That's
that.
I was there's a lot of scenes in this movie that he reminds me of True Detective McConaughey. So
Yes.
that's interesting that you said that.
This is
No, I did not
also, I
know that.
think, this is right off of a movie called Mud, and maybe even
Yep.
Dallas. This is like McConaughey is on
This is
fire
in the
at this time.
McConaissance. Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, yes.
Yep.
It is. Um, so
He just plays
I,
like the MacGyver so well. He's like the
oh,
space MacGyver. He's
he
just the
does.
dude.
Yeah, he does crazy stuff
It's
throughout this
I
whole
couldn't
movie.
imagine anybody else playing the role. It almost feels like the role was written for him. Like
Yeah, and I
I
know
can
for a
barely
fact it
even
wasn't.
perceive another actor playing
No,
to that.
I just have no idea, because like, um, I could see, could Christian Bale be a Top Gun fighter? Yeah, he could. Could Hugh
Right.
Jackman be a farmer? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he could. Could they maybe do all three facets of it? Maybe, maybe. But he just seems he seems so special, and I'm actually really glad because Nolan has his favorites. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He definitely
Right.
has like people, and I've heard him say that he doesn't write a role with an actor in mind. He's not really, because like
Interesting.
other people like Tarantino will devise a character with the sole hope of a single person from a movie in 1985 that only acted in 6 movies. And if he doesn't get them
Right.
for the movie, he's unhappy. Nolan says that he wants his characters to stand on his own, and then eventually, whenever they come in, he says it almost limits the character too much if he's just thinking about somebody. But that is interesting that he does that
That makes
because I feel
sense.
like he picks up the same people all the time: Christian Bale,
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy, Michael Caine,
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway. There's all kinds of people that I feel like
It
he
is
uses all the
interesting.
time.
I feel
But
like if he does do it that way, he does fill it well, and it's funny that he just plugs the same puzzle pieces in every time. But that's a testament to those actors. I mean, he does work with some of the best actors and
of the
most
yeah,
flexible.
yeah.
They do what they do well.
So I definitely think I'm really glad that it was Matthew McConaughey and not Cillian Murphy. I'm really
Me
glad it
too.
wasn't Christian Bale. I'm really
Yeah.
glad it wasn't. I don't even know who else was like super hot in
I
2012
don't know who
or
was hot then.
2014.
My thought what made me think of that was I was like, who else would you throw in there? Like Tom Cruise? Like how would you?
No,
You just couldn't. And then I only thought of that because of Top Gun. But
right?
there's just nobody else that could. I don't think that could pull that much
Just the
to.
little nuances of like the conversations that Brand and Hathaway and Cooper have.
Mm-hmm.
McConaughey's just like where he's almost whispering, and he has such a gravelly voice, and he just sounds sad all the time sometimes.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "You just cost me 7 years with my daughter." You
Yeah.
know, I hope it was. Tell Doyle that. Tell Doyle you was just thinking about the mission.
Yep.
There's just they're really great.
It goes without saying, but I think he acted his ass off in this movie. I don't know if he got. Did he get any kind of accolades
No,
for this?
nope. I looked it up. He won like
Insane.
he won a Saturn, I think,
Uh huh.
but he was nominated for another movie in the same year. So I don't know if that conflicted with it. I don't know if that caused because I don't know if
Gotcha.
I don't know if they've ever done that. Like if you are in two great movies, can you get
Right.
nominated Best Actor twice? And he went up against like really stiff competition. I knew it earlier, but one of the ones was the guy who played 12 Years a Slave. So that one that
Mm.
would have been nigh impossible. Just a bad year for McConaughey to start popping off.
Yeah.
That one would have been really hard to beat.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I want to go
But
back to the outline just because.
uh huh.
I mean, we're still in Act One. Outline
Yep.
was.
We are.
I love.
When do you have Act One ending? Because I didn't look up any kind of guide for this
I looked it up
out of
after I thought
curiosity.
about it, but it was
Uh huh.
exactly what I thought about. It's when he leaves the house, and this is one of the best
Okay.
scenes in the movie
Yeah.
because they do this a couple times in the movie, and I'm sure movies do this all the time. I'm not really sure, but I'm just thinking about as if this was the only movie I've ever watched. He's leaving Murph.
Mm-hmm.
He's driving. He starts
Yep.
driving. It starts playing the countdown to the spaceship, and you don't see it. He's just
Yes, it's
driving.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
you're getting the audio from him driving away, Murph coming out yelling for him, and the countdown. And I'm pretty sure Act 1 ends when they enter space for the last second of the spacecraft. Or
Gotcha.
of the takeoff. I'm pretty sure that's what I looked. That's what I definitely thought, and then whenever I looked it up, I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
That's about what I had, but I didn't know if it bled over a little bit into the being in space. But no, that checks out. That makes sense the more I think about it.
Act
I
one
pretty
is
much have all
usually,
of.
in like
Uh
a
huh.
technical standpoint, they call it break into two.
Yeah.
So it's usually whenever people separate, we'll
Gotcha.
begin a new act. So Murph and Cooper separating.
Separate. Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Um, that's pretty much all of my notes for Act One that I had. It looks like I may have referenced more later. What else do you have for that section? I would be curious to
I
hear.
got a few things. I'll go through them pretty quick.
Yeah.
Dr. Brand just talking about the Lazarus missions.
Yes.
Just all the setup, like we're in a spaceship. This building's a spaceship. I'm trying to solve gravity. Here's the Lazarus missions. I love that name. I love that
It is cool.
Cooper's like, ugh, terrible name. And Brand's like, they came back from the dead. And Cooper's like, yeah, they had to die though first, you know? I love
Right.
that. They set up Dr. Man. There's like, I don't know if, I didn't see it today, but I feel like I've seen it before. Um, Dr. Man is such on the nose of a name, of a symbolic name. He's the greatest
Yes.
human ever. He's the greatest guy ever. His name is Dr.
Yep.
Man. I've even seen jokes, or maybe I'm making up a joke that his first name is Hugh and he's Dr. Hugh
That's so
Man.
funny.
So I don't know if I made that up or if that's been written down before, but that cracked me up. So
That is funny.
I
The
I
name
just
itself, though, too, Doctor Man about ruins the character.
a little bit.
And it's interesting. Yeah.
A little bit. I love that they are described as the bravest humans to ever live. Because Cooper's like, you've sent people through the wormhole, and he's like, yep.
Yeah.
Lazarus missions, the bravest humans to
Yeah.
ever live. I love that line spoken
Ooh.
by
Yep. That's
Michael
it. Yep.
Caine.
That's such a cool line.
Oh,
He
it's
says you've sent probes through that wormhole, and they're taught. They sit there for a minute. Michael Caine goes, "We've sent people through it." That's such a cool
it's
way
so
of
cool.
throwing that out there.
That would
Yep.
be. It's one of the greatest monikers ever. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
imagine just being like having the title, bravest human ever,
Yep.
which is great foreshadowing because Dr. Man is a huge fucking pussy coward.
Huge coward.
And I love that. And I love that they even say it. I love that Matthew McConaughey's like, you're a coward, you know? So,
Yep.
gravitational math theory. I like that setup wise, there's two plans. There's plan A
Yes.
and there's plan B. Okay?
Yep.
Hey, if plan A fails, we got plan B. I like that because
That is cool.
I feel like there's probably some space movies and just other movies where it's like, we're going to do this impossible thing. If we fuck up, just whatever.
It's over. Yeah. Right.
So I'm glad that from the beginning they talk about that.
It is cool that there's a balance there. It's cool that they have set up these such they've established these good characters here on Earth, and of course there's the dynamic of, well, their goal is to save humanity. So if Plan B is the one that ends up working, then
They win.
yay, humanity's saved. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, but what about my family? It's such a cool way of doing things. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I don't have any notes on that, but I liked that.
Okay. I accidentally muted and it wouldn't unmute, so I'm back now. But
Sweet.
this movie is a lot about choice.
Mm-hmm.
And when Matthew McConaughey said that that was his biggest struggle, like, would I leave my kids?
Yeah.
And he kept saying it in a weird way that, which I do think this is a part of it, that this is Cooper's destiny.
Right.
He thinks it is, but in the terms of the plot, like this is like it's almost biblically his destiny also. Like it's almost prophesized that he has to do this.
Yeah.
But
It never didn't happen.
it never did not happen. I love that.
Yeah.
But they shit. McConaughey's like, man, if it's not even so much like it's the thing I'm the best at, it's the thing that I'm the best at and it needs to be done. And I was like, yeah, that's like, cause he's not just like, he's not doing this for fun. Like
Right.
there is a very huge goal attached to this. And I heard somebody else say this, and I thought it was really brilliant from a 6-minute video on YouTube from 12 years ago or 10 years ago. Cooper's like, yeah, I will sacrifice my time, because time is a really big, it's like an actual tangible resource in this movie. I will
Right.
sacrifice my time so that way my children can have time. And so
Yeah.
instead of having time with my children, I'd rather let them have time with their children. And as
Right.
a parent, and they even talk about this a few times in the movie, like, who gives a shit if I live? I need my baby to live. I need my kids to outlive me. I need them
Right.
to go on beyond. So I don't think the choice is like super crazy,
Yeah.
especially whenever. And this is like kind of like context clues. Like, yeah, these people,
Mm-hmm.
and Michael Caine says it, like they've never been out of the simulator. These people don't know
Right.
what they're doing. Who knows? This is our
Yeah.
last chance, and we're sending a bunch of amateurs. So
Yeah.
it'd be really nice, considering you kind of were training to do this before the world fell apart.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
I completely agree. And you mentioned too, the one, like McConaughey's mindset, and two of like wanting to give the time from, or take the time from himself and give it to his children. We had mentioned Dr. Mann, that just, and him being a huge coward. The exact opposite mindset, and even gives like several monologues about that, later
Yes.
on here in a bit, about literally the exact opposite thing, about how
And
we're
I
not
don't
evolved to be
know
like
if
that.
like I'm supposed to read this because like the people that got sent on the Lazarus missions, they had no
Hmm.
attachments, which ends up being a lie because Edmund and Anne Hathaway,
Yes.
they were, maybe it wasn't well known or something. I have no idea. But maybe there is something about having no attachments versus having something to live for and have something to die for. Because, Dr. Mann, he just has himself, and Cooper
Yeah.
doesn't. Cooper has a lot more attached to him.
Right.
So maybe that's a little
That
theme
is
in the movie.
interesting. Yeah.
Um,
That is very interesting.
that goes into like before Act One ends. It's the best acting between McConaughey and young Murph.
Yeah.
They, I this was the first time I ever cried at that scene. I usually didn't start
Of
crying
him
until,
leaving.
yeah, this was like the first time
Yeah.
where I was like, oh wow, not even him leaving, just their conversation. Um,
Oh yeah, that's extreme. The don't make me leave like this, Murph.
don't make me leave
The
will break me in half. But even before that,
yes.
just like the whole, like we said before, now we're just here to become memories for our children.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Especially considering that the mom has already died and she's already a memory. I thought that was
Yeah.
crazy. Um, so that was, especially, I think, me being a father now, like, even the little girl going like, it says stay, they wrote
Mhm.
stay, you have to stay, and he still leaves. I was like, oh my god, she was acting on
Yes.
insano levels. I thought she did
Great.
so good.
And
um
then yeah.
oh, the
In the truck
reveal.
driving away,
But
McConaughey looks fucked up from that.
yeah, yes, he does. uh Before that, one of the best scenes in the movie, and it's almost a plot twist, or not,
Mhm.
not like a plot twist, but it's a
Mhm.
revelation.
Right.
And it's like, I get this feeling, and I'm sure I'll get this feeling more, but it's like, you just ever been in a situation, you're like, I know the right thing to say, and I'll say the wrong thing. I'll say the
Mhm.
absolutely worst thing possible. I'll misread the
Yeah.
situation ever. He gives her the watch. He explains her relativity, something that
Yes.
nobody understands, because no,
Right.
like, it's like the one real world concept that's completely out of science fiction. Time
Yep.
behaves differently, and he's like, we'll see how our watches match up. We might even be the same age when I get back. And
Yes.
she just goes like, oh my god, you just killed my dog in front of me, you killed my puppy, you stepped on my
Yep.
puppy. And she like
Yep.
pauses, and then she looks at him, and she's like, you have no idea when you'll be back or how long you'll be gone. And then
Mm-hmm.
it just ends the conversation. In
Such a good scene. Such good acting there too.
Yes, such good acting. And I just can't imagine leaving on worse terms.
No.
Without
That's
like
what's gut wrenching about that.
yes.
Yes, he did not get any consolation out of that goodbye. Even to the point where like that has to just, and you can really tell too. That's part of the reason why I think the movie pulls at you so much, or at least me, is that you can tell that just digs at him. And then even later, Murph still doesn't talk to him. And that's just the last interaction that you had with like your daughter, you know, the
Yeah.
person that you love the most out of anything in the world, and that you're doing this for, you know. And I think that's just part of being a parent too. I'm not a parent myself, getting a little meta here, is that, you know, your kid's not always going to understand everything that you're doing for them, but you still have to in the end for the greater good and for their, you know, even if it's for their survival or just for their well-being. But yes, that is a heartbreaking
And him
scene
and
and
John
group of scenes there.
is it Lithrow? Is that what you said? Donald, his father-in-law.
Yes, yeah.
They have a really good talk, and
Mm-hmm.
there's great dialogue in the talk with them. And
Yeah.
he says something like, "Man, I wish I wrote it down because it's kind of like it's some poetic doublespeak
Mm-hmm.
where he's like, I don't know if it's it seems like it's the right choice, but should I be excited about it?" And Donald says something like, even if it is the right choice, or if it's the wrong choice, it's how you feel about it. Something, man, I wish I had it written down because it was crazy, and it actually gets reflected on later with
Mm.
Dr. Brand whenever she wants to go to the planet that Edmund's on, and they're like, "You're basing that choice completely off emotion," and she's like, "Maybe I am." Then what does that not make it the right choice?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so that was actually a really cool way to tie that back up.
Interesting. I don't remember that line of dialogue, but that is interesting. There's just so many good. You could break down so much from all of those scenes in Act One.
I,
Um,
I will say this is meta. I'm gonna look at the camera. We were
uh
like,
huh.
let's try and get this episode under an hour. Ending Act One
This
discussion
is going to
at
be
an
such a
hour.
long episode.
Oh
Oh my
well,
God, it's going to be.
yeah. I mean, it's
Yes.
I'm
We
here for
you
it.
could go forever. Um,
So Act
and
Two starts, and they
yes.
immediately. This is where I was like, oh, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yep.
I bet Nolan watched it as a kid. Turns out he watched it as a kid, and it heavily inspired him. He
Yep.
talked about how he wanted, he's really big on being original. So I don't think anything in this movie is like he ripped off 2001. I don't think that at all, but I can definitely see the inspiration. Just and that's just because Kubrick was great and made something so iconic that it became generic. You know,
Mm-hmm.
turn the sound off when you're outside the spaceship. Let's
Yep.
spin. Let's spin some shit in space. Turns out that's actually
Yeah.
how shit moves in space. You got to spin it to get gravity. But it looks exactly the same in some ways. So I thought that was cool. I love Tars. Tars is a
Tars is so
very
sick.
he's really great character in this movie. I love everything about him. The settings, he stays, he gets better as the movie goes on. I like his counterpart in Case, who's more serious.
Yep.
Even though they're like nearly identical, I mean they look exactly the same. So,
Tars is
but
cool because he goes from a mean guy that I don't give a fuck about to like a gut wrenching loss later in the movie.
yeah,
Um,
once he starts like,
that's cool.
I love that they're like they give him a humor setting. It's just like,
Yes.
yeah, that's
Yep.
cool. Then they start bringing into like what's your truth setting at. It's like 90%. Objective truth isn't very useful. and
Yep.
that
Is
gets
so cool.
that's optimized the whole movie. And turns
Yep.
out it was optimized before that was revealed, that the whole truth is not being told to hardly anybody in this movie.
Right. Yep. It's not the
So
best for emotional beings,
yeah,
is
and
exactly what Tars says.
even
Um.
though we don't get to spend too much time with like the other crew members, I
Mhm.
mean we do, but Doyle we don't, because we'll talk about it. But I like them. I like how they're on the ship. I really liked
Oh, I
how
like. Yep.
I liked how they were talking. Romilly is, I don't know if they were going for an autistic character, but I really get that vibe from him, especially whenever they come back after 23 years and he's like, he's
I
very
think.
socially reclusive then. But even before then, whenever he's like, he's spazzing out, he's sitting down, he's like, between us and this little tiny bit of
Yes.
metal is just millions, and he's just spazzing out. And Cooper gives him an iPod of just like nature sounds. I was like, wow, that's just
Yeah.
so,
Well,
that would
something
make me feel comfortable,
that make me feel awesome. Yes. Something I noticed even from Act One, Romilly was presenting, the plan, and the space state or in the back at home base
Yeah,
NASA,
yeah, yeah.
and
Doyle
he
was
was
there
very
too.
normal.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Very normal. Well, I thought he was more so normal, but yes, I have several notes about Romilly. Romilly I really like Romilly. Doyle,
Space
doesn't get a
changes
lot
these
of love
people.
and shine, but yes, Romilly's sick. You mentioned 2001 earlier, and the sound, and it set the standard. Again, that was my other sound note. The sound is awesome at the start of Act Two and like this part of the movie. It's almost like muted and
Mm-hmm.
muffled, and it's such a stark contrast to like what was previous, and it's just done very well. It is kind of like a cliche, but is very good. Um,
Well, they were so focused on like scientific fact, like there was no sound in space,
yes, yep,
and that would make every Star Wars movie boring. But
yeah,
Nolan is, I mean, there was a physicist on set. There was a
right,
physicist they consulted before they even started casting people. Like this movie is as about as scientifically accurate as it could be,
mm-hmm,
considering that there's like time travel.
yep,
But if time travel exists, this is how it would exist. So
yep.
really cool.
This is branching into fun fact for sure, but I will forget. I learned today that speaking of the scientific nature of this movie, they studied black holes based off of the rendering from this film,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
think like one frame of the black hole, gargantua or whatever it is, took like 100 hours to generate or something like that.
Something
And
crazy.
there's a lot of frames in there, and it was such a realistic depiction that there's been like 6 research papers published on black holes just from using like Interstellar as source material. I thought that was crazy. Oh, that was so sick.
And it just really goes to show how, how crazy Nolan is about certain things,
Yeah,
that he's like, "No, I want a black hole.
yeah,
Make me a black hole so I can look at it."
yeah. It's insane.
So they get to they get the first contact, the first handshake. You don't know what have no idea what that means until later.
No,
They go
good
through the
good
wormhole.
callback though.
I thought the
Mm-hmm.
wormhole reminded me of 2001 Space Odyssey. Something very
Mm-hmm.
similar happens. I love how it looks. It looks insane. It
It
looks
looks awesome.
absolutely insane. They get to the other side, and then they start talking. And they're like, "What planet do we go to first?" And then it gets brought up like, hey, we're really close to a black hole. Which, in hindsight, knowing that people from the distant future, this has all been planned out, they probably wouldn't want you to go next to the black hole. Edmund's
Right.
planet was nowhere near it. They could have just went there and everything would have been fine.
Yeah.
There would have been no time slippage or anything. and but they're like, no, we gotta do all this stuff. And I love that they start talking about how time is a resource. I thought that was very clever, and they're like, it's the same as oxygen and fuel. Like, we can't just be out here. And I love it from the standpoint of, like, not only is Cooper's worried about the time because of a very personal reason. Like, I want to get back to my kid. But he has a very good argument to go with it. Like, hey, plan A is save the people on the planet, save the people on Earth. We can't just be, like, slipping through 100 years of time like it's nothing.
Yeah.
What's the point? So
that's the cool part about having A and B too, like you said, is that it adds another whole dynamic to the story where, like, there's never the option of just being like, oh, we'll just settle down on this planet and forget about everybody else.
This is a concept I have, and I don't know if it is true, but it seems like let me find it. It almost seems like the characters, because we go to the water planet, okay? Beautiful. Right. It's crazy that, like, this is a real place on Earth. Not the giant waves, but just, like, the really flat water. They shot that, like, in Greenland or some Scandinavian country. And
interesting.
Yeah, it looks cool. I love it. But, as you know, this is another fun fact that everybody knows. There's a ticking sound in the scene.
Yes.
Every tick represents a day on Earth. Very minute thing that you have to read about. That's, nobody in this movie will tell you this. You have to, like, read a weird fact about this movie or count the ticks. So that's cool. Doyle wanted to go to this planet. Doyle dies on this planet. I have a theory that everybody dies on the planet they choose. And if you go against that choice, you will die horrifically. Sorry. So Cooper wants to go home.
Right.
Bran wants to go to Edmund's planet. Romilly eventually wants to go to Man's planet. Man chose his planet and then regretted it. Doyle wanted to go to the water planet. Doyle dies on the water planet. Romilly dies on Man's planet. Man should have died on his planet, but then was cowardly and then died horrifically. Cooper got his wish to go back home. Bran will seemingly get to die on the planet she wanted to. Professor Bran never thought he would leave Earth. He gets to die there. Murphy, she eventually didn't think she would die on Earth. So she won't. So I don't know if that's, like, intentional. I just was watching that movie and I was like, damn, every time somebody makes a choice about where they want to go, they fucking die there. So
yeah, that is interesting.
I thought that was cool. Just like a little how my brain works. The giant waves, and they're like, that's a mountain. Terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
It's that whole planet sequence is so cool. Very tense, and I think even without you knowing that every tick is a day, it kind of keeps you.
Oh, it feels awful.
Seat. Yes, it feels crazy. And even then,
as soon as they get there, they're like, the gravity's heavy.
Yes, and it doesn't take that long. And that whole sequence didn't take very long, I noticed this time. They spend more time on the planet after the first wave, and I think that adds even more when McConaughey's like, yo, fuck, this sucks, dude. We fucked it. And
yeah, because they say, which it's not perfectly shown in the movie, because how can you show that an hour has passed? But they say, like, it will take an hour to drain the engines, and they're just sitting there, and they're probably crying. It's very emotional. But yes, but before that, them finding the beacon destroyed, and this is where I was like, oh man, Tars is that guy. I love
He's
seeing
the man.
Tars roll out. It looks crazy. Um, I like that. Doyle, Doyle's death. I'm. This isn't a critique,
It's
but
just
some.
sad.
Well, before that though, I was like, does he? Why does he die? And
Right.
like he's not pinned under anything. He's like, but after watching it, he's the one that mentions the gravity is like really heavy to him, and they're kind of like making fun of him, like spend too much time in space, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
I think and then Cooper at the end, he's like, y'all have zero survival instincts. Y'all,
Yeah.
y'all are basically a Boy Scout troop. And Bran
Right.
would have easily died because she was. I don't know if
Oh, she
Cooper's
was,
like
yeah.
the leader.
She was pinned.
I don't know if they have like a hierarchy of command or anything, but Cooper's like, get back to the ship right now. I'm begging you. You have to. And she's just like, no, I got to get the beacon or whatever. I
Right.
don't know why. Um, but she's just oblivious to the danger that she's in.
Yeah.
And I think Doyle just spazzes out. I think he's like scared that Bran's gonna die. He looks behind him, sees the big wave. He's stressed out because gravity's heavier. And I think he's like waiting for Bran to get saved. And then he's like, okay, now I'll jump in. And then it's just too late.
Yeah, he
And
just didn't. He just doesn't have that level of survival instinct even in himself. That was kind of how I interpreted it. Like
pun not intended,
he,
but he doesn't understand the gravity of the situation the
yeah, he
most.
just didn't act. Like not even that he wasn't. He was cowardly or anything like that. He just didn't maybe take the severity of the situation
He's just
seriously
frozen.
enough. Yes. Yep. I thought so too.
I love how Brand and Cooper talk. Cooper, Anne Hathaway's giving a really good performance. Like she's upset, she's crying, and she's like,
Yeah.
I have reasons to go back home too. You're not the only one. I'm sorry, I messed up. And I just love how Cooper's not giving her any leeway. Just like, yeah, you did mess up, and what is
Right.
it going to cost us? Tell that to Doyle. And when they leave the planet, just the final shot of Doyle's dead body floating on a
It's crazy.
godforsaken planet
Yep.
where, in the way time works, humanity will go extinct 7 times over before he decomposes, dude. He's
Oh
basically
yeah.
there for eternity
Forever.
for a mistake that he didn't even do, for his choice
Mm-hmm.
of going to this planet.
It's crazy that they say too that like you said that I don't remember the original scientists that went to that planet, but they were like, yeah, they had died only minutes ago, probably right before we landed by their time.
Terrifying.
Yep. So crazy. Once we get back up to the ship, I don't know if you had anything to say else. That whole action sequence was cool. I don't have any notes on it
Yeah,
or
I
anything.
love I
Just a
love
nice
how
part of the movie.
that ship looks surfing the
Yep.
wave. I love how it
Yep.
takes off, how the
Yep.
engine spark. It all looks, and this is the part where I was like, this looks like Star Wars a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It is really cool.
it all looks really good.
Um, Romilly, this is the part of the movie where I love Romilly and the character. Because, like you had said, Romilly before did have some, like, emotion to him. He's kind of freaking out on the space station. He's like, I can't, he's just going through an existential crisis. I would probably be the same way, honestly.
Sure.
If I was like, man, it's just silence and there's just a few millimeters of metal and then the void. And that would freak me out too. They get back to Romilly. Romilly waiting 23 years
Yeah.
is insane.
Which it says
He is
he's
fucked up too.
yeah, yeah. They do say he sleeps a couple times, right?
Yes.
But that's also terrifying going down for
Yes.
cryo sleep.
My
And
brother has been up there tweaking, I bet.
yeah, it's really funny because like I don't know what kind of amenities they have on the spaceship. It doesn't go into this at all. He's just
Mm-hmm.
up there doing math, Little Dicky style, just sitting
Yeah.
back here doing math, which is hilarious. That
Yeah.
is just like, yeah, I guess. But I just could, in my position, just being who I am, a lazy individual. Could you imagine just like, I guess I'll do some more math today. I
I
don't.
think he's just so bored, dude. And I think
Oh, it
even
would be
too, didn't he
terrible.
mention? I don't recall exactly. Didn't he mention even at one point that he lost hope of them coming back?
Yeah,
So
and
he was trying to solve the gravity
well,
equation. He was just doing what he could.
he says a really good line. He was like, "I didn't think y'all were coming back, and it didn't feel right dreaming my existence away." And that's why he
Yes.
didn't go to sleep. And that is a
Yeah.
very, very haunting line, for
Yeah.
the second group of the bravest humans to ever live.
Yeah.
Um, so, and this is another part where the audio. So, as soon as Cooper realizes how long they've been gone, he just walks past Romilly.
Yeah.
It's not like, "What's up, man? How you doing?" Blah blah blah.
No,
He's
nothing.
gone. I love that they are playing the audio of Cooper. These scenes are back, like they're going on at the same time. They're playing the audio of Romilly talking to Bran, telling her everything we just talked about. But
Mm-hmm.
Cooper's just like, "I gotta turn this cassette tape on. I gotta start."
He's watching movies. Yep.
And this broke me. This will break me every single time I watch it. I will cry
Mm-hmm.
if I watch this movie
I cried.
tomorrow.
I cried this time.
I'll let you know. I watched this part at work today while I
Uh
was
huh.
working on my phone with the lights on, and I heard them say 23 years worth of messages. I looked at my phone. I started crying at work, and I was like, "Man, I
Yeah.
hope nobody walks in here. I'm just fucking bawling." I was
Just
just
crying.
and
It is such a good scene. It's one of my favorite scenes of any movie ever.
I could pull it up on YouTube right now and cry at it. I'm that
Yes.
invested into it.
Yeah.
My favorite part of it, so he's talking to Tom. We get to
Mm-hmm.
see Timothy Chalamet turn into Casey Affleck, which
Yeah.
is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the messages start out pretty hopeful. Hey,
Yes.
I'm graduating second in class. Farming's going good. Grandpa said something funny. And then he's
Mm-hmm.
older and he's like, I met a girl, shows a picture. Then he's like,
Yeah.
I'm married to the girl. We're having a kid. And then he shows the baby. And Matthew McConaughey waves at the TV
My
screen.
God.
I'm about to cry thinking
Yes.
about it. And
Yeah.
he's already crying because like he's watching his life flash before his eyes, pretty much.
Yeah.
But when it cuts to, "Sorry, Dad, I know I haven't sent a message in a while," and
Yeah.
he just goes, "Just everything going on with Jesse," and then like for a split second you're like, "What's going on with Jesse?" And then he goes, "Grandpa died last week," and it cuts to Matthew McConaughey, and he's not even crying anymore in the sense of like animation, like he's not moving.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like Stephen Hawking frozen to the
Yeah.
side. But he says Grandpa died last week, and a single tear, a fat tear,
Mm-hmm.
rolls down his face. It gets me every single time. And he goes, I buried him next to Mom and Jesse,
Yeah.
which is where I would bury you if you ever came back." And I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God."
It's that scene got me. Usually it's which I mean the whole thing's emotional, but the weight of him having and talking about him meeting his grandchild
Yeah.
and then his son being happy and then like you said just the very next scene just like a broken man, the life is just sucked out of him and he finds out in a second that he's a grandfather and then his son has lost his child and he has missed all of it.
He just missed
He
all
has
of it.
not been able to be there for his son.
It's
And it
so
has happened
crazy.
just like that.
It's so crazy how to show like how life can be in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Because like life is like that. Like 1 second You can be happy about something. Something bad can happen next. You know, it's insane.
Yeah.
And then Tom is like, you know, Lisa says, I gotta stop talking to you because you're not out there, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna something like I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna give up on you or whatever he says. And it cuts to black, and
Right.
McConaughey's like, no. And then Murphy comes on the
The
screen.
Murph. Yep. First
Oh,
Murph message.
first Murph message. And I love that she goes, this is also just something I can only imagine McConaughey doing. She goes, hey, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, hey, Murph.
Yep.
and and she's like, hey, I haven't sent a lot of messages, but today's a. I love how this actress is too. She like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of her lines. She'll almost like sing songy them. I don't know how else to say them. She's like, but
Yeah.
today's a very special day. You know, she has a really interesting
Right.
cadence to how she says some lines. Um, and I love that she's not stoic through the whole message because she is mad. She's been so mad for 23 years. She's never sent a single message. But she says, today's my birthday. We're the same. I'm the same age as you as when you left. And then she
Mm-hmm.
starts crying. And it'd be a really good time for you to come back. And I was like, oh my, that broke me.
It's
Oh,
it's heartbreaking.
it was hard.
I
Um,
love that scene. Um, it's I could cry anytime, like you said. If I pull it up now, it would just make me sad. Um, Great scene. One of my favorite scenes in the movie.
for sure. And I love that. I love that we immediately switched to Murph's perspective of the same scene. We go on the other side of the videotape, and it gives like such a good
It's
break
cool.
from the spaceship.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, what's Murphy into? What's Professor Brand into? I love, you know, I gotta scroll down on my notes because we talked a lot, but it was a really good breather. Just being like, okay,
I was about
well,
to say they need a breather. Yes.
let's see what Murphy's into,
Yeah.
and
I don't have any notes from that whole sequence, but it is cool. It is cool to see, an older Murph. It's cool to see an older Dr. Brand getting pushed around in the wheelchair. Murph is the true prodigy at that point, which is a cool part of the story that maybe you wouldn't anticipate from earlier in the movie.
right.
Um,
And by the end of
it
the
is
movie, you're
just,
completely vindicated in that thought because, like, it's
yeah,
like, wow, this movie is actually about her.
yeah,
Yeah, I love how she talks to Michael Caine, and she's really sweet to him. She's
mm-hmm,
always like, "Yes, Professor," or "Of course, Professor." You know, just real
yeah,
happy, and he's. They immediately start talking. I'm gonna get on the rant again. They start talking about the math again, and they're trying to solve gravity. There's nothing. There's nothing else you need to know. They're trying to solve
no.
gravity so they can
Murph,
evacuate the planet. You
yes,
know,
Murph says something very general there. She mentions something about time, and then she says, well, I don't have this written down, so I'll probably butcher this, but she says, well, you know, Dr. Brand, we've never considered the time. It varies and such. And this
she
whole
says
time
something
you've been trying
crazy.
to solve this equation with one arm tied behind your back. Actually, no, it's both arms tied behind your back. And once again, Michael Caine's a little sheepish about that.
He's like,
He's a little bit
let an old man sleep.
he's a little bit sheepish about that, which is
I'm an
interesting.
old
It's just an
man.
interesting part of the movie. But
Yes,
yes,
she
no math is needed to understand that.
no,
That's what you
it's
need to get from it.
the point of that scene is he's hiding something. He's
Yes.
hiding something, and she realizes it, and
Yep.
he confirms her suspicions by not talking about it.
Yep.
So,
I have the next notes I have is from Man's Planet. That's for me.
oh,
Um
I have a good bit before that.
okay.
Not too much, but they go into after all this, they go back in space. and they're trying to decide: do we go to Man's planet or do we go to Edmund's planet? And this is a great scene because Cooper, which we
Yes.
didn't mention in the beginning, he's been unto Anne Hathaway since the beginning, just ever so slightly. And I caught it this time because I was looking for it, because I was like, what? How does he know?
Mm-hmm.
But, Anne Hathaway, she's like, oh, this is Dr. whatever's planet. She was our biologist, blah, 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 great. And this is Edmund's planet. And she just kind of like
Interesting. I didn't notice
she
that.
just tries to skip over it. And
Right.
McConaughey, Cooper's like, what, well, what's his deal? And she's like, oh,
Yeah.
he was a physicist. And she doesn't want to talk about him.
Right.
And so that obviously, I mean, like, means something, considering like every time they talk about everybody else, they talk about him like they're Jesus Christ. They're like he's the greatest person ever. She
Mm-hmm.
did this for us. She was so brilliant. Blah blah blah. He's this. He's the best of us. So they
I
they
have
go
a
into they go into the debate, and they're like, there's data from both planets, but we only got enough fuel to go to one. And I love
right.
that Cooper's like, you gotta tell them, and forces it out of her.
Yes.
And it doesn't show them vote after this. They don't have a discussion. Brand just gives up,
Mm-hmm.
and she gives a speech. And I've seen a lot of people, they don't like this, that she's like, talking about love as a concept. It's like, I really enjoy this. I thought it was really cool. I love how philosophical it gets. There is no social utility in loving somebody that's dead. There's no social utility in grieving grandparents. There's no reason to feel that way.
Right.
And she's like trying to play their case, and they're both scientists. And Cooper, throughout the movie, is like, I believe in. It is really funny hearing Matthew McConaughey. He's like, you're a scientist. You're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
believe in facts, not feelings. Go
Right.
go and Ben Shapiro on her. But
It that
just
whole scene does tie in well. That whole idea ties in well towards the end of the movie. Um,
yeah.
really good, kind of full circle in that. Do you think? I don't have a note on this, but I do remember thinking it whenever I was watching the movie. Do you think the decision that gets made in that scene is kind of out of malice on Coop's part?
I think so.
That's the vibe that I got.
They almost go the emotional opposite. It's like
Yes.
she wants to go there to see Edmund, but
And they even say it is the better. Apparently, the data is better
the data
from
is
that planet,
better.
and I bet it
He's
is.
but he stopped transmitting it. Is
Ah,
the problem. That's the thing. And as we know, in the future, at the end of the movie, he's dead, died.
right,
And that's why he's not transmitting the data, where man put his on a relay to play for all eternity.
right.
So they do say that the data is better, but it's farther away. But no, Cooper definitely makes the wrong choice, because it's also near the black hole, and they're going to have to lose a little bit of time just by going to Dr. Man's planet too,
Yeah,
which is something he should be against.
right.
Um,
That's
and
just the vibe that I got, that
and if he
he was
didn't
doing
if he
it
didn't
to be
feel
more
that
of an
way, they
asshole.
could have maybe went to Edmund's planet at first, but he's been unto her since the beginning, and
Yeah.
he's like, he's holding it over her head. And I love that
Yeah.
the scene after this, I didn't even write this down, a great scene. Anne Hathaway's like, well, since we don't have enough fuel to go to
Mhm.
Edmund's planet and back to Earth, if this planet's a bust, you'll have to choose between seeing your kids or all of humanity. I hope you'll be as objective as were just now. Just
Yeah.
like in his face, like, you fucked me over, and you wouldn't want me to fuck you over, and you would never make that call for yourself.
Yeah.
Love that.
Good punchy scene, yeah. Yeah.
Um, they cut back to Earth, and it just looks scary. I love how full on apocalyptic it is now. People just are in a panic. The dust seems worse. They're talking about corn. There's I don't know if you noticed this, but whenever not oldest Murph, but middle aged Murph, or
Mm-hmm.
in prime of her life Murph, she goes and eats dinner with Tom and Lisa. They are only eating corn,
Yep.
and I don't that this is kind of stupid of me, but I don't that kind of takes me out of the movie because I'm like, can you survive on only corn? I don't know if you
I
can, but they
Even
are.
towards the start of the movie, I noticed this time like a lot of their dishes were corn. Like she served cooked cornbread and things like that at the
Yeah, and
beginning. Yep.
Donald, the father-in-law at the beginning, says popcorn at a baseball game. I want a
Yep.
hot
Yep.
dog, damn
Yep.
it, you know.
Yep.
And it's like, can you eat this much corn? I have no idea. But uh, Earth just looks like shit. We get introduced
Bad.
to Topher Grace. I love when Topher Grace shows up in a movie because it's always so random. I have no idea, like it. He's only in like a few movies every once in a while, and it's always different genres, and it's very random. It's Eric from That 70s Show. I'm not sure if you knew that.
Mm.
Um, he's basically Murph's boyfriend. He's the doctor. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Okay. I get. Yeah.
Yeah, Topher Grace. We get introduced to him, and we already at this point, Tom is starting to scare me, and I think you was wanting to talk about this earlier, but the way Tom behaves in this movie, like, it's kind of weird. Do you feel that way?
Yeah. I do, and I don't. I don't want to. We'll go ahead and talk about a negative just because it's pertinent for the time being. I don't love the way that Tom's character is handled in this movie. I think um, he doesn't get a lot of time, and his development is very strange. Um, and thinking about it now, maybe it's just straight up because he went through such hard trauma
I think
in
so.
like that little period, and I guess that makes sense. But yes, he is at this point of the movie, especially too. He is a weirdo. He's
He
very odd.
he almost becomes like a traditionalist boomer. Like,
Yeah,
fuck science. Dad went to space for bullshit. We just got to grow corn. Maybe he's just fully bought in on the propaganda that they've kind of been alluding to, that they're teaching people since the beginning. Like, hey, if you
yeah,
ain't, it's very topical from where we are from. If you ain't mining coal, then you're get the hell out of here. If you ain't
right.
farming corn, then what the hell
Yeah.
are you doing? Just wasting time.
And he very well may be in that mindset too, because I mean, from his perspective, I mean, they were abandoned by Coop, of course,
Yeah.
and they probably didn't fully understand that as kids. He was older, so he may have, but he was also in those teenage years, so you never know. But then too, he even said in one of the videotapes, like Murph quit coming around eventually, like he just never saw Murph anymore. So he's been estranged and like by himself, I guess, for a while. He's probably distrusting of the science and scientists because he's like, well, my dad launched himself into space, and now Murph's trying to do some math to put food on the table. What's the point of that? I need to grow some shit. So I do kind of get where that character probably comes from and evolves from. Um,
He just, in a movie of just such deep, multi complex characters that are more than two dimensionals, everybody's got so much to him. He's just kind of shallow
yeah,
as a
little
character.
flat,
And,
little flat.
I don't. Does, does he
Which I
need.
may
Does this movie need to be 3 and a half hours long just so Tom. I can see the descent of Tom a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the scene that starts it for me is like they're coughing at the dinner table, and
Mm-hmm.
Murphy's like, I got a friend who could check you out. And Tom walks into the room, and they are like coyish. They're like
Yeah, she's almost like a battered wife
a little
almost.
bit, yeah. And even Murph is like, yeah, I don't want to say anything too much in front of
Right.
him. And it's like kind of weird. It's like you're gonna be like, are you against medicine? Like it's
Yeah.
like, which now in the year 2025, people are like that. So maybe it's not. Maybe it was ahead
Yeah.
of its time. But yeah, it started getting really weird at that.
Mm-hmm.
Jump to Professor Brand dying on his deathbed, and he confesses to Murph that he's lied to her.
Yes.
And
Is this in Act 2? Is this
yes,
before they go to Dr. Man's planet?
um, shoot,
Or
yes, it
I'm
is.
curious. I have
Yes,
no
it is
idea. That's crazy if it is.
because
Okay.
it is because um the message gets relayed to
While
Tars
they're on Dr.
on the
Man's. Yep,
ship
that's exactly
while they're
right.
floating through the. You can see them in the window. They start flying away, so they just missed the message by a little bit,
Yep.
which is cool. And
Yep.
it's very haunting, and it's really, I love the message of just how cold Murphy is, of just like, Dr. Brand, your father died today. He was in no pain. He was at peace. Pause. Did you know?
She's
Did you
thinking
fucking
about it.
know? Did you like? Yeah, she
Yeah.
doesn't want to say it. She has like the subtitle says she has a bitter laugh. She's like, "Did my father know?"
Hmm.
And I thought it was like very hauntingly beautiful, and like very impactful, that like a very human message of like hate and resentment and like anger is received by a robot. The robot is the only one there to get the message. And it's
Hmm.
and like the robot can't react, like the robot doesn't have a face. But
Right.
even the robot in the scene starts creeping up to the monitor. And I started getting like 2001's An Odyssey flashbacks. And I was like, damn, is this fucking robot going to keep this a secret? Like, is the
Yeah.
robot going to tell? Or is the robot going to preserve the mission? So that's it. I didn't have to wait long for the robot to end up telling them. But for a second, I was like, damn, what will the robot do? So that
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
There's a lot of like little scenes like that that's kind of 2001-esque in this movie, like that, and that are like I mentioned earlier, more kind of like suspense or horror almost even. Like
Mm.
sometimes when they're floating through some of the spaceships, it's just like silence, no music, just like a deadpan, and it makes you feel weird.
Yeah.
But yes, yes, that's some of the things that I noticed too. Um, I have something in here with Dr. Mann. Since we're on his planet, you have anything at the moment prior to that?
No, just
Okay.
the main thing is when they get there and they open them up.
Yes. That's exactly what I have. When he wakes up, they rip his ass out. He wakes up to surprise and sadness. Like
I
it's
love the
Matt
sobbing.
Damon immediately acts his ass off at the start because it's and you can watch it, and if you know if you've seen the movie before, I feel like maybe I'm over analyzing, but I feel like you can get a little bit of like guilt from
Yeah, I
his
thought that.
actions immediately.
I definitely
Um,
thought that because like the first time I watched it, it's just like, yeah, imagine waking up from cryo sleep and seeing somebody. Yeah, it'd
right.
probably be like in a very alien place, a very foreign place, lost to time. It would be very emotional. But no, I
Yeah.
was totally with you. I was like, man, he might be sobbing because he's like, I've, because he's not ignorant in his evil.
Right.
You know, he's aware of it, and I could definitely see in that moment him being like, "Yep, I've betrayed these people."
Mm-hmm. It's just a very interesting reaction to him, which I think I would have, anybody normal would have something similar. But he, the whole introduction sequence to Dr. Mann, I have a couple of just notes on it. Mainly is that he's cowardly all throughout, and he's a really interesting character in the development that you get because you've heard about how great he is, and they set up all these expectations for this dude,
Mm-hmm.
and he falls so short of everything. He's a liar, uh, a coward, um, has destroyed his robot,
Yeah,
even.
yeah,
And from the first scene, of him wearing the little emergency blanket, he's just lying about everything.
yeah, and it's crazy. I love this whole. I loved it, and then even though I don't know if I knew Matt Damon was in the movie when I first watched it, but I mean, like, it even takes a second to realize who he is when they're popping him out, you know.
Yeah.
And then just seeing like, okay, we're going to do a close up on his face, and he's going to talk for 6 minutes. And it's like, yeah, awesome, yeah, let him roll,
Yep.
baby.
Yep.
I love that I love the monologues. He's talking about, pray you never forget what it's like to look at a face, or
Yep.
how to be alone, or all that. And I like Anne Hathaway in this scene too, because she's like, fuck.
Yeah.
She's like, fuck, this is the planet. We're never gonna go see Edmund now. And so she kind of like tries to be chipper. She's like, Dr. Mann, tell me about your planet. And even he's so committed to the bit. He's like, well, hopefully our planet. And I love how he's talking in this scene. He's just real methodical and kind of
Mm-hmm.
hush, and he's just like, our planet's a cold. They say cold so much. He's like,
Yes.
it's a cold planet.
Cold and even colder is
The
how it's described.
the days are cold, 67 long cold hours, and the nights are even colder.
Yeah.
Um, but at the surface, and there is a surface, the air is breathable. There's fucking plants and bunnies running around, and I'm growing carrots down there right now,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
it's just like,
It's it's interesting that I didn't know. This was the first time I'd picked up on that they are on a cloud. It's still because they crash into a cloud whenever they're coming onto man's planet, and then the ground is still yet a frozen cloud.
yeah. Fun
Um,
fact: this is apparently the most scientifically unrealistic thing in the movie. The physicist was like, I don't know if a cloud could be frozen, and
Interesting.
so yeah, the whole like there's it's very it kind of looks like Journey into the Center of the Earth, where it's like we're in the world and there's a world
Yeah.
above us too.
Yeah.
Kind of reflective of the end scene when they're on the weird spherical spaceship and they hit the
Yeah.
baseball up. I don't know if that's intentional. Probably is, knowing Nolan, but damn,
Yeah.
lost my train.
I have
The message. Oh, the message. The message comes in to interrupt them, right?
yeah.
And I love that. Anne Hathaway and Matthew McConaughey, they go through a really crazy journey in this movie, because like when they meet each other, they don't like each other. Anne Hathaway takes forever to like Cooper, but in this
Right.
situation, she's like, Cooper, I swear to God, I did not know. Um, it was my father's life work. Um, is there anything? Or then Dr. Mann chimes in. He's like, oh no, That's facts. I knew.
Right.
Plan A's bullshit. It's only ever been Plan B. And then Cooper and Romilly is just so drained that he's just like, oh fuck it, yeah, Plan B. But Cooper and Anne Hathaway, who for to them they only left Earth, you know, months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a year of like experience time,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure because they say some shit
Not
like
not
they
long at all.
not long at all because they say they got up in space, they went into cryo sleep, they woke up before the wormhole. That took 2 years, but they weren't conscious for it. They go through
Right.
the wormhole, they spend a couple hours on the other planet. They have
Mm-hmm.
to travel to Dr. Band's planet. We don't know how long it takes, but it's not like if Edmund's planet is months away or a month away, then we can just safely assume that Dr. Man's planet is days or weeks away and not nearly as long. So they might as well have left Earth minutes ago. And
Right.
Dr. Man and Romilly, they're like, that's old news, you know.
Yeah.
We've been gone for a while. But
Yeah.
Dr. Man saying that he knows and it's true that plan A was never going to work. And then Romilly, I like that. I like how McConaughey uses Romilly as like a fact checker throughout this movie. Like,
Yeah.
give me the stats. And even then he's like, is it true that we'd have to look inside of a black hole? And he's like, yeah, and it's impossible. I was trying, but I can't do it. And Dr. Brand has a really good scene where she's like is really intimate with Cooper, and she's like, "Is there anything I can do for you?" And he's like, "Yeah, just let me go home." And they're like, "Yeah, that'd be fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess we can do that." You know, it would strand these people, and he's like, "I'll go die with my kids. That's fine with me. Y'all can start Earth. Or Earth 2. That's fine with you."
Yeah.
And immediately this is where Matt Damon start getting sketchy. He's like, "Well, we got some stuff to do first, and I want you to go with me." Like very Scooby Doo. Like, we'll
Yeah.
split up, gang. And he's like, we really could use an engineer, and he just starts talking crazy on this ice
Mm-hmm.
walk. Which this is a real
He
place too on planet Earth, not the clouds above it, but like that the
right.
ground they're walking on. That's Earth somewhere, and it's crazy.
Interesting. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. He Matt Damon's acting very weird. Like even whenever they start the walk, um,
Even
because
before that,
he's
whenever
like,
he's talking about the robot being broken, he's like, don't touch it."
yes,
No.
yes. But even whenever they go like right before the walk, when they're like, well, this weather, he's like, but then
He's like, "We should
Coop was
wait."
like, yes, and the Coop was like, well, I really want to get this done today. That would be the preference. And he's like, well, I guess these do usually pass. We'll go ahead and go, but you need your long range transmitter. You got that on? And Coop's like, yep, got it right here. And he's like, oh well, I guess we'll go then. And then it's just it's
He's trying.
foretelling there.
Yeah, I almost feel like he's like, "Damn, I'm." He's just so in over his head too,
He's
because
getting digging he's digging himself deeper.
and he's a dork like everybody
Yeah.
else. That's not
Yes.
Matthew
And a
McConaughey.
coward. And
He's
a literal coward.
he's a dork coward. He's like, "Oh, my evil plan is really,
Right.
God, it's going by really quick. I was really hoping it would be nighttime and I'd have like some time to think." And
Yeah.
so
Only I don't have too many notes from this section, but we're coming up to my main one. And it's crazy that, see, like you were talking about, they go through the walk and everything, and Matt Damon just goes on a hell of a monologue whole time, similar to what we were talking about earlier, or what I was saying
yeah,
earlier.
if I was on a
Um,
walk with somebody and they started talking like that, I'd be like, "What?"
I would go,
I
yo,
was-
what are you talking about?
Yo, because he
There's
stops,
no-
he starts poking him. I'd be like,
Yes.
brother, don't be poking me talking about what I'm gonna see before I die.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's crazy. He's talking reckless. Um,
He's
and
spazzing.
yes, he is. So they go on he goes on his monologue. Great parts of the movie. Um, he once he finally gets to the point where him and Cooper fighting, the reveal is crazy too. He takes his transmitter, throws it seemingly into a bottomless pit, but it is not. And then they start the wrestling match. Sick little action sequence. Very
Oh, I
cool.
love how it's shot. You know,
Yes.
we're not
It
we're not nowhere near talking about how beautifully shot,
no.
perfect this movie is. But just know,
Yep.
anything I talk about in this movie, you know, Nolan is filming the dog shit out of it, dude.
It goes.
Filming
I
it
feel
like
like
it's never been filmed before.
yes. I feel like that's the thing. It goes without saying how pretty this movie is because there are so many like it's just visually beautiful. Everything is. I don't
You
have
could
any
maybe
complaints
watch
about the
this movie
visual
like
at
a
all.
silent film.
Yes, it's stunning. Um, but him and Man are wrestling and everything, and there's a couple of lines there. Man, whenever he's headbutting
Yeah.
McConaughey has him pinned on the ground. He's headbutting him, and he hits him once, and then he maybe even hits him again. And Coop or McConaughey goes, "What are you doing, man? This is
Dr.
giving
Band.
you a 50-50 shot of killing yourself." And he sits and thinks a minute. He goes, "Well, those are the best odds I've had in years."
I love that.
And then he shortly after he finally cracks Coop's helmet, and I think this is what I wrote for this whole planet. Basically, I didn't take that many notes after Act 1. I want to say I got
Yeah.
lost in the movie
Yeah. As
it's
I
so
do.
good. Um, he can't even watch Coop die, and he talks about it.
Yeah, you can't
He's
leave him
that
be.
much of a coward. He almost he's like a kid almost. He is a loser because he'll like Dr. Man can't even watch Coop die. And even then he's like I said like a loser nerd, so he's like he'll say that and then he'll kind of turn around and look at him and be like, "Are you thinking of your kids?" And like it's just such a it's cringe, but it's evil
It's
and
inhuman.
cowardly. Yes, it's inhuman, but it's also he's Dr. Man. It says a lot about like he does, and I think that's I mean that's the reason why that's his name, I assume, and I don't even think that's that deep of a take, but and how he represents like the terrible side that humanity can have and bring.
Yeah.
It's he really is. He's such a good and well written character, and he's acted very well by Matt Damon. But he's just disgusting, almost. And then, even then, fucking, I don't know if you have anything between now and then, but what he did to the robot and everything, faking the
Just
data,
just
and
dirty.
then I assume he rigged it to explode, but he didn't
Yes.
want it to, and it just killed Romilly. Romilly, my other note for this whole planet is that Romilly went through hell this whole movie. And Romilly is such a tragedy of a character,
Just
and
didn't
it's
get
sad.
anything his
No,
way.
he didn't. He got fucked the whole entire film, um, even up until the end, and the whole planet with Man, it is so cool. Very well done. I don't. It's cool that Man didn't die. Like even watching this over again, I'll forget the scene directly after, which is the spin sequence.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a little bit of me that always thinks like Man dies on this planet or he gets abandoned, and that's just not the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. I thought the exact same thing. I was like, yeah, leave him behind. We leave him behind, right? And it's no, not
Nope.
at all.
Nope. Even worse.
The only thing we missed in that segment is the really, really good line whenever Man is talking and he's like, yeah, I just never thought it wouldn't be my planet. And that's when
Mm-hmm.
he shoves Cooper over the wall. And it's like, yeah, I bet he was so far up his own ass. He's like, yeah, I'm the same. And especially the way these people are talking about him. They're like, yeah, he's the greatest guy ever. I bet he did think that he was going to be
The one.
the Abraham of New
Yeah.
Earth. You know, he will
Yeah.
father many nations, and he will be Caesar from Planet of the Apes. Like he is the one. You know,
Yep.
um, the whole real quickly, the whole scene of them trying to get off the planet, super intense, chasing them, just a chase scene in space. And I love that Tars disabled the autopilot, because Tars is
Very
like,
cool.
this motherfucker wouldn't let me touch this robot. This guy's acting weird. We're on fucking ice hell.
Yeah, and McConaughey mentions the trust settings. What's your
Yeah.
trust settings at?
He's like,
This is
sir, apparently lower than
yours
yours.
apparently, yeah.
Yeah, so awesome. Tars, great character.
Yeah.
And I love how desperate Dr. Man is. Dr. Man's like, I don't give a fuck. He's just so cocky too. He is everything bad about humanity. He's cowardly. He's a liar. He's a manipulator. He's a sneak. He's cocky. He's arrogant. He's
Yeah.
egotistical. He's prideful. Um, you know, and he's like, I can dock this ship.
Yep.
And
The whole spin sequence is really, really good.
it's
Also
great
another
action.
great scene of the movie. That's what I was gonna say too. I have a note immediately below that. How do you even act like that? Matthew McConaughey during the spin sequence looks fucking
Oh
crazy.
wow!
I'm sure they have some kind of centrifuge or something they can stick his ass in. But
Nolan put him in something crazy. I didn't
it's
even think about that.
how do you do that?
Oh yeah, Nolan had him in a giant spaceship connected to a pulley, dude. Like Anne Hathaway probably really passed out.
I bet so.
I love that Cooper did not pass out. By the way,
Yeah, there was a fun fact with that. So Coop, if you notice in the movie, because he's a pilot and pilot trained, I don't know how G-forces work and not making yourself pass out, but Anne Hathaway went with the lean, right? So she leaned right, and McConaughey fought it the whole time. So that's what kept him conscious, I guess. That was interesting.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, because she goes limp and then she flops over.
Yes.
But he's leaning into it. But I even he was like, Case, if I pass out, get the sticks,
Yep.
Case. But I just love that
like
he
that.
didn't pass out.
Yep. Is so sick.
He's just like, I'm so tough.
The whole, I don't have anything on it too, but it is disgusting, the blow up scene with Dr. Man. I forgot that Coop and Anne Hathaway were kind of back just looking.
Yeah.
I'm glad that scene played out like that, and they
Even
were just trying to talk to him.
Even Cooper's like, back up, we got back up, back up.
Yeah, they're just observing because they.
It makes
know
it
he's
feel
not fucking up.
so. Like, for this to be a space movie, like, it doesn't really feel like a space movie sometimes. Like, that feels like
No.
a scene from, like, Heat or something. Like, oh, a bomb's about to go off. Let's back up.
Right.
Back the car up. Not to mention I'm in, like, a crazy Star Wars Bespin fighter jet, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the spin sequence, and they get into it. And this is actually where I've read that Act 3 begins. And I was like, is Act 3
Interesting.
10 minutes long? And I looked down, and there's still a lot
There's
of movie
a lot
left.
of movie left. There's a lot of movie left.
So, yeah, I almost would say, in my mind, I feel like Act 3, I would almost think it's like the betrayal of Dr. Man and not so much when he dies, but I don't know. I could see it
Right.
also.
Right.
All this stuff, it's not even really like worth the breakdown. Their conversations and like they're breaking apart, other than the fact that they're like, okay, let's go to Edmond. Dr. Man's blown up, the ship's fucked, we don't have that much gas now, it's bad, but we can make it to Edmond if we throw Tars into a black hole. And I like that Anne Hathaway's like, we can't do that. And it's like, he's a robot. Yeah, the fuck you can. Like, what do you mean? Like, I get it.
Call back from a prior line too. Yeah.
Yes, it was. It's like he has to do anything we say. We're joking, but he does.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of interesting that Tars and Cooper have they have a secret plan that Anne Hathaway doesn't know about, because like
Is not in on. Yep.
Tars is going to view the black hole, and Cooper's like, I'll see you there. I'm gonna throw myself in it too, and I love it. And it's so emotional, and
Yep.
from Anne Hathaway's point of view, terrifying.
Yes.
Getting thrown into an abyss. Both of them are getting thrown into the unknown. They just have no
Yeah,
idea.
they're dead. That's something
Yeah.
crazy to think about with the end of the movie. How it is, they're dead to her. There's
Yeah.
no perceivable way that she thinks they're alive.
Right. She thinks
that
the
anything
whole
worked
planet.
out.
Yeah, she
Yes.
thinks she's gonna go to that planet and I guess
That will
start
be it.
putting
Yeah.
babies in her and or whatever,
I
which
don't
seems
know.
like a very hard
Yeah.
job.
Right.
So, now we're getting into also more 2001 Space Odyssey, and also
Yep.
like you said, a callback to the scene of driving through the dust storm. I like how it looks because it doesn't look super crazy. It's black,
No.
and then it flashes lights, and then it kind of just looks like
It looks
they're grinding on a windshield or
Yes.
something, like on a piece of metal at a windshield. Like it looks like I could probably create these special effects, and I kind of like that. It's because it's weird. It's like, why the fuck is there slag in a black
Yeah.
hole?
It looks just cool enough. I really like the whole getting sucked into the black hole sequence.
This is like my last conceptual talk for the movie, or second to last. But do you think so? He goes into the Tesseract, right? The mass. It looks like a library,
Right.
And do you think Cooper, from his point of view, I bet he thought he was in hell.
Oh, he
at
probably
first.
had to.
Like
Yeah.
that is his personal hell.
What is that? Yeah.
I get to see my daughter from the other side of the bookshelf,
Oh man, yeah.
and I get to live with my bad decisions that I regret crazy because it's been based on a lie. And yeah, I bet he was like, damn, I'm in fucking purgatory. I'm in
Yeah.
Dante's Inferno level of suffering.
What was the reaction of him telling her or him to stay? Him trying to communicate to himself to stay.
Yeah, just
He
crying.
had no knowledge of anything else. Yeah, he was like, "I'm fucked.
And I
Don't make
love-
the same mistake."
And this is another thing. I'm so happy it was McConaughey because it's like, don't let him leave, Murph.
Yep.
Don't let me leave.
Don't let me leave, Murph. I'll cry. I cry at that part every single time. But yes, it's awesome.
Murph, don't let me leave. Stay.
One thing I had to say that cracked me up whenever he was going through the black hole, him launching himself out, him ejecting is funny to me every single time. It's just insane. Like,
I
yo.
actually, yeah, it's like, because his ship's about to blow up, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, what are you ejecting
Yeah.
into, bro? Like, just
No.
blow up.
Yeah. Has to be hell. The Tesseract the whole place is cool.
It looks awesome.
And yes, he's just a wreck. Emotional. Has to be. It's cool. And this plays on a Tars line coming up. It's a very good line in the movie. It's a pivotal point too, and it's that we're not here to change the past, or however Tars phrases it there, and that goes in with the Murph scene.
Yeah, it's another one of the moments where it's like, say that again. But I love
Yes.
it. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's not cliche. It comes across so well. McConaughey can do shit like that, and it makes it sick. I don't know how I don't know. I just like it. There was a connection there at the end too that I thought I didn't articulate it very well in my writing, but I did write it down. So, it's cool that Murph came back to the house. Burnt the cornfield down that distracted her brother, everything like that. And she's drawn to this room. And that makes sense. And it's kind of funny that she didn't think of that sooner. But it makes sense. It's cool. At the very end, when her boyfriend is telling her, there's like a push and pull there with him saying, "Come on, Murph, we gotta go, we gotta get out of here. It's time to go." He's freaking out outside. But
Yeah,
then at
because
the same
Tom
exact
Tom will
time,
kick his ass.
yes,
You know,
it's so funny. Tom punched him before that too, just just for
for no
listening, trying to
reason.
provide some medical help to his
Which
children.
Topher Grace comes off as like snarky,
Yes.
and
And
I
that's
was
what
like,
he was like, you have to take care of your kids right now. And yeah, he'd get punched for that. But there's that dynamic between him saying go, 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 and even then Coop saying stay, stay, stay to the
yeah,
younger version of herself in
yeah,
that moment. That was kind of a cool dynamic I never
that was
realized
that was
right with
cool.
that scene.
And I love that these moments are playing in unison with each other,
Hmm.
but canonically and like chronologically they don't even exist at the same time at all.
Right.
In a weird
Yes.
sense, it's like it's always existing, I guess.
Right. Yep.
But
I know. Yep. I know exactly what
it's
you
just
mean.
it's very weird just how like the movie is playing. It's like, he's trying to tell that version of Murph something, but he's not. It's just
Right.
movie magic and editing.
Hmm.
Um, the I love all that. I love that the people that did. I love that it's just humans. I'm glad it's not like aliens or something.
Aliens. Yes.
I'm really glad it's like it's us from the future. They're
Yep.
they're doing to me what I'm about to do for
Doing
Murph.
Murph. Yep.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that he's like it was never about me. It's all about Murph,
Hmm.
and
All of this built it for one kid's bedroom, infinite
yes,
time and
infinite
space.
time,
And
and
it makes sense too that they can't directly communicate. So
they just wouldn't know. But
yep, nope.
yeah, but McConaughey Cooper being the dad, he's like,
Hmm.
she'll take the watch. And I love that scene because Tars the whole time just being a robot is like, this is stupid. This
Yeah,
is crazy. What are
yep,
we like? This is, and it's like, first off, Tars, we're in a really weird tesseract, so
right.
obviously we have to do something. Um, but I also get his point of view. Is like, I just love the line of like, how do you know she'll take it?
And he says,
And
I just know she would." Or
he,
what do you say? I gave it
he
to her.
he's yes, because I gave it to her. I love that.
Yeah, that's
And
a really
then
good line.
the Tesseract disappears, and now I've seen people say they wish the movie ended like this. I
I
disagree.
disagree. Yes,
I
I
disagree.
I
Crazy
don't love
style.
old Murph because it's shocking,
Oh, I
but I
love it.
think that adds to the movie. I
Yep.
think it does so much. I
Um,
even wrote I even wrote ending is beautiful. Um,
yeah. It's great. I think it's really good. I think it's really really good. I love he wakes up. He's in a weird space station, and they're talking. They're kind of talking to him like it's a miracle. It's like it's a miracle we found you. It's like yeah, we basically have like science magic on our side, so it's not really that big of a miracle. I don't think.
right.
Um, and I love the mix up that we're on Cooper Station. He's like, he named a station after me, and the nurse. I don't think it's not. It's almost not realistic. Like I wouldn't giggle at this because, like,
Right.
from his point of view, why I would also think that, but it is funny that it's like, no, we're named after your daughter.
What's so funny, Coop gets no respect. Not that he doesn't get any respect because he does, but even Murph tells him at the end, like, they didn't believe me. I knew it was you. They thought I was crazy. They didn't believe me. And
It's been
like,
like 75 years. It's like
yeah,
what have you done? And like
right.
also the missions are very very not well known.
And yeah, I
And
mean, could you imagine if I solved some enigma or problem today and I was like, "Oh, Papa told me." You'd be like,
yeah,
you'd be like, "Yeah, right." You know?
all right, man.
All right, man. Yeah, go on.
Um, through space and time.
Right.
I
It's in the
love
watch. The dust. Yeah,
I
you'd
love
think I was batshit crazy.
I love how emotional I cried at this scene whenever, not just the fact that she is alive and she's on her way, but she really shouldn't be traveling in her old age, but she wouldn't listen. I mean,
Right.
This is Murphy Cooper we're talking about, and
Yeah.
that made me emotional because like Cooper got emotional too, Because
Yeah.
it's like just off of that, and knowing like the space station's built after her, like this
Mm-hmm.
is like a giant among people now. Like this
Yeah.
is like the one of the most brilliant. Like you can just tell off of the context clues that we are talking about a great human being.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's my kid. I'm so proud. And like I cried.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I couldn't even imagine. And then I love whenever he goes and sees her. She's surrounded by like 45 people. Her
Yes,
family.
that's what I have. It's yeah, room
I
full of
started
family, but
I
it's
started
strangers.
I started crying about that just cuz
Yeah.
it's like wow, look how loved your kid is and look how
Mm-hmm.
prosperous your kid was. In cuz also in Cooper's mind, uh all of these people, Murphy should have starved apparently,
Yeah.
you know? So it's a
Yeah.
miracle she has
Yeah.
this many ancestors or not whatever.
Yeah.
So I love their little talk. Also, this is
It's
another
awesome.
scene. I can only imagine McConaughey holding that hand,
Mm-hmm.
saying, "You told them I liked farming." Like I
Yeah.
can't imagine.
Such a good icebreaker
Yes,
for that
yes,
scene. That's
yes.
awesome. A
I
little bit
loved
of
it,
humor.
and I love the idea of like your kid is now wiser than you, because
Mm-hmm.
she's like, "You need to go," and he's like, "Where?" And he's like genuinely asking because it's like
Yeah.
this is a smart old woman, you know.
Right.
Um, and we skipped over a lot because I liked that he got to go back to his farmhouse and that he fixed tars and
Oh yeah, there's so much cool stuff there too. It's a museum and it's not the same.
they're
I'd hate to
playing.
live in that place for
Yeah,
real.
it's just a fake version of it.
Yeah.
It's only it's a
Even
pit.
Coop's like, I don't think we should try to recreate the past or whatever he
Yeah,
says.
it's a picture of a picture.
Yes. Yep.
And but I love that they're playing the video clips from the beginning of the movie, like
Yeah,
throughout this
it is
museum.
cool.
That's
Yep.
like it really ties the documentary. It's like it
Yep.
doesn't make those scenes so weird now.
Mm-mm. Nope,
It's
it's
like,
like
oh,
full
okay,
circle.
yes.
Yep. Um,
And then the
I love
ending,
the Murph line. No parent should have to watch their kid die.
so good,
That's
so good.
really, really good.
And it's
Um,
it's a great callback for her brother
yep.
and just how
And
awful his
oh
life
wow, I
was.
never even thought about that. Yep. Um, it's interesting too that Murph said for him to go, not only because of that, but she said, I'm surrounded by my family, my children. I've got people here that love me, and it's such a strange emotion that brings out because, I mean, Coop loves Murph, and that's what I was gonna say earlier because you were talking about the passage of time. Coop has been gone from Murph, and
3 months,
him, yeah, it hasn't been long at all,
1 year
and
at most.
it's been 80 years for Murph, maybe not that. I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea.
It might be.
Um, yeah, it's been for forever for Murph. And she has very much like moved on with her life and, made a legacy of her own. And it's a hell of a legacy, but, she's done it. And I bet it's just so strange that even though that she's surrounded by like family, I mean, that's Coop's family too, but it's just all strangers. It's almost
Hmm.
like it reminded me of the vibes of like a family reunion or like if you go to it and you just see people and you're of some relation to them, but you're like, man, it's just that kind of weird
Yeah,
feeling,
yeah.
I guess, in a way.
No, I got you.
Um, but and even then, like Murph said, Coop, and even Coop said it too. Like he has to move on and find what's next. He says that himself. Um, I think the
She says,
endings.
"Go get Brand. Go find
Yes.
Brand."
Yep. I
Which
think the ending spoon feeds you a little bit, like just enough, but it doesn't do too much. I love how this movie ends. In the search for Brand.
I love how he also very Star Wars. I love, like I said, I love that he steals a jet, even though they
Yep.
probably would have just gave him one.
Right.
But I love that him and Tars are sneaking around and they
Mm-hmm.
steal one. And I think that the ending scene being Brand is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
it's
completely
it's
agree.
it's Edmund's grave, and it's like a pretty, it's a fairly desolate planet, it looks like, and she's crying, and but then it cuts to a really nice base camp, and it
Yeah.
looks good.
It looks good.
And I like that Murphy's voice kicks on here, and she's like narrating. She's like, it's her conversation with Cooper, but we didn't get to hear it at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just her saying like, she's out there among the stars alone, a stranger in a strange lands, and she might be getting ready to go take a nap. You ought to go help her out, and
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Really nice ending.
Yeah, I love it.
Love it.
It's so
Um,
optimistic,
yep.
and for such a bitter, dark movie, for so much of it, it has
Yeah.
really such a good ending.
I like because you were talking about earlier that people wish to end at the Tesseract closing. I'm happy that it ends right there, and not a moment before, and not a moment after. I
Yeah.
could not think of a better way of ending the movie.
Yeah, I
Now,
don't want to see a sequel to this
no,
movie.
That said, I do have in here. I love the universe and the thought of the Interstellar
Yes,
universe.
I
I think
also
that is so
yeah.
cool.
There's like a game people play where they play like 15 minutes before, 15 minutes after, and you put a
Mm-hmm.
movie in, and it's like 15 minutes before this movie, humanity is going to starve from corn eating in like 10
Right.
years.
Yeah.
15 minutes afterwards, all of humanity is on giant space stations going through a wormhole to meet a cowboy and a scientist on a planet that they picked out through immense sacrifice. Like
Yeah.
it's a really crazy universe.
Right.
Well, I don't need to see it though. I don't need to
No.
see it.
No, you don't need to show me that. As much as I would like to, in a way, and I don't even mean that like in that I want you to show it to me. I don't need it. I don't need to see it. It does
I
enough. It does
I can
just
feel
enough.
it.
It's plenty. Yes.
I can feel it. He gets
Yep.
there. He gets
Yep.
there. They love each other, and then the spaceships show up 3 years after, and it's New Earth, dude.
They restart. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But that yeah, I love this movie. I think we did pretty good on hitting about everything. I don't really have anything else on my spoiler review at the moment.
No.
I guess is some like I I don't know what else to say except for I just love the movie. You
Yeah,
asked me last week if
recommend
it
it.
was my favorite movie ever.
Yeah.
It's so close, man. If it's not, it's so close. I think it has something for. There's so much of it I love. Every
And
little bit of dialogue, every scene, it's
and
beautiful.
that's
The
what's
sound, the
crazy
music.
is that I feel like the people that like this movie, they love it. And it's
Yeah.
crazy that it's not better received, cuz like even I found like an interview with Matthew McConaughey where he's like, even the interviewer's like, yeah, my favorite movie's Interstellar. And he's like, I get that a lot. People come up to me all the time and say that. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's, I even see, I scrolled through many YouTube videos just that said Interstellar, the greatest movie ever. Still the greatest
Mhm.
movie ever. Is it the greatest movie ever? Greatest movie
Yeah.
ever. And it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
Um,
I guess if you love it, you love it. I don't. Yeah.
um, you know, that ends our spoiler-free review. And the only
Yeah. I think that about does it.
critiques I have is maybe Tom is a little shallow, and that's it.
I think that's it. I think Tom's a little shallow. I had something I wanted to say earlier, and I think it's just there's a lot of not. I don't want to say cliche because that's not the right terminology for it. There's a lot of there are a lot of cliches in this movie that I think it gets away with, and it does them very well. Some of like McConaughey's lines and things like that, like we had mentioned. I think those are fine. It is a little bit fast, I feel like, whenever you get to NASA, and it's like there it builds. You get to the fence, they get taken in, and then there's that like moment where you're like, oh shit, what's about to happen? And then in 3 minutes it shows this is Michael Caine, we're NASA, we're going to open up the boardroom. Here's a huge ass spaceship. We're going to space. You need to be the man to do it. It's that whole, and because I don't want us to linger too long on that. I don't think it's necessary for the story, but
They're
I
just
did
trying to
notice
get the
that.
space so
Yes,
fast.
I did notice that with this watch that I was like, holy shit, that sequence moves quick. I feel like I don't know if you
Yeah.
got that at all. And I definitely have a bigger gripe with Tom as a character. Um, but yeah, I did notice that this watch through.
You know, I don't know if I really. I don't know. I don't think I felt that way. It is. The first act is just so good that it could have
Yes.
been. It's just. It could be its whole other movie, you know? I
Yeah.
just loved it so much.
Yeah.
No, I really think my only critique is maybe Tom's a little shallow, but I also don't think so at the same time. I think he's just one dimensional in a movie of just very multi-dimensional characters.
Yeah.
So he kind of just stands out, even though there's reason why he the way he is. There's
Mm-hmm.
foreshadowing. There's evidence. I mean, it's not like he's super crazy. He thinks
Right.
he's doing the right thing. It's just that he's just a corn man, you know, and it just
Yeah.
comes off really strong. But I don't know. I think
Yeah.
let's hit some fun facts.
Yeah, we can hit
And
some fun facts real quick. I mentioned a lot of mine earlier. I don't even
I
know
did
if I
too.
have any more.
I'm going through. We went through a bunch of them. Endurance, the ship that's not a Ranger, but like their space station.
Mm-hmm.
It's shaped like a clock and it has 12
Yes.
modular.
Yep.
That's a good one.
I did
We
see
could
that.
literally talk for the length of this podcast just about the musical score. There's documentaries just on this musical score. Go find
Mm-hmm.
one. Hans Zimmer's a genius. Just very quickly, they chose an organ. Nolan came to Hans Zimmer, was like, "You got to do this," blah blah blah, and like just put it all on him. Put it on his shoulders. He chose an organ because it's an instrument that breathes. I think that's crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and you can feel it in the movie. He's like, it's the most human of instruments because it breathes. You have to make it breathe. I thought that was cool, and then also it just has such a cultural reference to religion, and there's like a religious aspect of like hope in this movie, and the organ plays into that of like just like faith and like trying to get it done.
Right.
I thought that was cool. Oh, that was all my fun facts. We hit all the other ones.
Yeah, I was about to
Oh
say I
no,
don't have.
there's actually
Okay.
one crazy one. Anne Hathaway got hyperthermia filming the scene on the water planet
Oh wow.
because her suit had a hole in it and it filled up with water and she's got hyperthermia, and so whenever she's like in distress, and like Nolan filmed it after knowing that she was like freaking out, and he was like, all right, well, let's roll because we're in the middle of the water and help's a long ways away, so we might as well get some out of it. So whenever she's like freaking out on the water planet, she's freaking out in real life.
For
That's
real.
a fun fact. Yeah.
That's interesting. That is crazy. I don't have any fun facts reserved for the fun fact section.
We hit a lot of
I
them.
mentioned a lot of mine during the rest.
All right.
But yeah.
And well, that ends that, and then we'll move on to the Rotten Tomatoes review.
I will say, real quick, the Rotten Tomatoes on this movie, like I said, it's not super well received, especially the critics. The critics shit on this movie. It is at a 73% for the critic review, but a 87% audience. Not as high as I would like to see either.
Yeah,
But I think 73 is criminal, and 87 I can understand.
I know it is funny. We're talking like this movie's got shit reviews. There's movies that would fucking shoot somebody in the head for reviews as high as these.
Right.
But just from the cultural standpoint, how relevant it has stayed and how people feel about it, it just seems low. it just seems low for some reason. Um, this is it's just crazy that this is his second worst movie on Rotten Tomatoes. Just like people enjoy it that poorly, and it's very bizarre. Um, but we're gonna.
Yeah. I've got a critic review here. I've actually never read this one before. This one is relating to Dr. Man, and it says, when man appears to explain man, it collapses under the weight of a repeated thesis that doesn't merit such explicit, redundant reiteration.
And
I just think you missed the point of a whole sequence. That's what I have to say about that. I
and
think that
there's a full review that goes with it, and it's just like when people start talking about that, in a way, I get it. What was that? So yeah, I just feel like that's a good missing the forest for the trees. In the terms of like, how the tomato score goes. If it's like 5 out of 10, it's good, right? Is that how it works?
right.
Like 50%. If it's
I don't know how that would work actually. I don't.
well, this symbol here, this means like he gave it like a 3 out of 10 or something, right?
Yeah, probably.
He did not like it, and it's like
No.
one point of the movie you just didn't. It made you not like the whole movie. Here's another one. Audiences are sure to lose their suspension of disbelief over the nearly impenetrable climax. Okay. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What about the climax? It's a movie about people in space. That he gets to go home is crazy? Or just he's probably talking about like the weird Tesseract thing, which is once again, I get it. That's a high concept thing. It's weird.
Right.
It's never seen it's never seen in a movie before because it's never been seen in a movie before, and it looks awesome. And once again, I don't need to understand 5 dimensions.
No.
They're like they basically spell it out to the general audiences. These beings have constructed time in a 3-dimensional space so you can understand it. And you still aren't understanding it. So it just makes me feel like you're dumb.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's not asking you for a whole lot as a movie. It really isn't. It's not asking you to do very much, understand very much. This isn't say. Okay, I thought this was the same guy. Funny enough, similar picture. This fella, poor review on Rotten Tomatoes. None of these characters feel fully fledged. For a film so rife with schmaltzy musings on the meaning of life, it's alarming how lacking it is in this department. 2.5 out of 5 original score. What?
Crazy.
I mean, whatever about your opinion. I just straight up disagree that none of the characters feel fully fledged. I don't get that. I think they feel fine. I think all of them feel pretty good.
I think they're great.
I think they're good characters. I think they're acted very well. I don't think... What else do you need to know? What are you missing?
The only guy that's not like fully fledged is like Doyle and Topher Grace. It's like, okay, well, whatever. Yeah. But like the main 5 characters, I get it. Mm-hmm. I get it completely. This guy has a funny one. Preposterous, pseudo-intellectual, poorly constructed, cliched, impenetrably masculine, goofy, and possessed of an indecipherable ending. Interstellar is the mother of all misfires.
Insane.
That's how you feel?
You suck, dude. If you think that, you suck.
Pseudo-intellectual. Scientists have studied this movie. There's research papers done on this movie. You think it's pseudo-intellectual?
I don't get it, dude.
What is masculine about this movie? That Cooper's a good dad? What does impenetrably masculine mean? What is goofy about this movie? The ending is not
Indecipherable.
The movie is very, very understandable. Let's see what the normal kids are reading or saying about this movie.
I'm gonna quick fire a couple more critics because it's crazy.
Go ahead. I'm gonna look for a crazy.
Overall, Interstellar looks nice, but ultimately lacks substance. Nolan essentially loses his way by going to space. Shut up, dude. You're crazy.
I like these short, just I don't know. I keep wanting to say civilians. There's actually been a surge of 5 out of 5 stars. You know, I think this is one of those movies that it's just going to get better as time goes on.
Well,
yeah. One person said this is overrated, and I'll tell you why. It's way too complicated. You know. This guy actually has a good review of a 3 out of 5. It's kind of long. He kind of put some thought into it. Here's 1 out of 1.5 stars. Don't know what I missed, but what a pretentious and boring film. I don't get it, man. There's literally...
This review says this soundtrack is so unbearably loud that it drowns out a lot of the mumbled dialogue between the characters.
You know, I
read in a review with Elon Musk that this is his favorite movie.
That's so funny. You know, a lot of these people are like, yeah, best movie ever.
I'm reading a lot of good reviews. This was not the most popular take. I don't know the last time I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes. 2019, maybe?
Yeah, me too.
I wish I could characters and a comedy robot in a serious space movie as a recipe for overpowering feelings of disdain. This guy, Chris Nolan, has made numerous movies that I can't watch. Sorry.
That's wild. This is a hilarious review. Somebody said Marvel is on a steep decline. I don't even know. 1.5 stars. I don't know. From 2025. Who's that for?
There are a lot of good reviews for
these. I wish we could travel back in time, Interstellar style, and I could show you the reviews from circa 2020, 2019, because there was literally people in here giving it 1 star rotten because they would say stuff like, I don't get the math. Too much math.
Too much math in the movie.
Too much math in the movie. You're not forced to do any math in this movie. Not one time.
I will verify. I have seen the math reviews. We've talked about them before.
I've talked about them for years.
I wish you could search for reviews. Yes.
This guy just copied one of the critics. This dude, this random guy typed in preposterous, pseudo-intellectual, poorly constructed, cliched, impenetrably masculine. This dude copied a critic review.
I found
and passed it off as his own. Wow.
Reviews and top critics. Here's some. They're from a little bit before. These are like from the late 2010s, which is crazy to call it that. But Interstellar, though ambitious and thrilling at points, is too complicated and doesn't reach its full potential. This dude says it's not entertaining. There are many words to describe Interstellar. Entertainment isn't one of them. 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5. Do you know what a 1 out of 5 movie is?
It's crazy.
1 out of 5. That
about leaves me speechless.
That's insane. If a movie, I will almost say, if a movie is getting played in a movie theater, by definition, it's probably at least a 1 out of 5. Straight to DVD movies can maybe be like a 0 out of 5.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
This
There's no universe where this is a 1 out of 5 movie.
there's no movie that Matthew McConaughey is
No,
in.
that's what I was about to say. Any movie with this cast in it and this level of acting, you could tell the story about anything almost.
Can I just look up Matthew McConaughey just to see something?
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll show me. I wish it would rank these. Apparently, funny enough, he played in a movie with Anne Hathaway and it got a 21%. So maybe we're wrong, but
Interesting. What movie was that?
it's called Serenity.
I thought maybe I had seen it or something.
The description of it is Baker Dill is a fishing boat captain who leads tours off of the tranquil enclave of Plymouth Island. His peaceful life is soon shattered when his ex-wife Karen tracks him down. Awesome. Desperate for help, Karen begs Baker to save her and their young son from her abusive husband. She wants him to take the brute out for a fishing excursion, then throw him overboard to the sharks. Thrust back into a life that he wanted to forget, Baker now finds himself struggling to choose between right and wrong. That does sound like a movie.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes has a higher critic score by quite a bit, 91% compared to Interstellar. And now I've watched Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I like the Planet of the Apes movies. That said, they're not in my top movies of all time.
No. Well, I don't know. I might disagree.
You think that?
I don't know. They're pretty good. Well, what do you think, Bobby? Got any final thoughts?
That's what I was about to say. I will probably just repeat myself, but I think this movie is one of the greatest ever. I love it with my whole heart. It is a fantastic piece of cinema. Please, dear God, if you haven't watched this movie, watch it. Watch it once, watch it twice, watch it a third time. You will get something out of it every single time. Let it make you cry. Don't fight it off. It is a wonderful piece of cinema, and I would recommend it to anybody. I look forward to watching it more. I'm going to watch it probably every year for the next, I don't know, I probably got 60 left in me, maybe. So we'll see. I want to show it to my freaking kids when they come. I'd want to show it to anybody. I'd show it to a stranger if they haven't seen it. So yeah, that's what I think. It's probably top 2, potentially 1 movie of all time. I would legitimately give it, a 10 is ambitious. I'm going to try to give it like a realistic rating. I've got 2 gripes with it, and it's a tiny 2. I'll give it a 9.8 to 9.9.
Well, my video ended again because of storage. So I'm going to just say, enough said.
That sounds fair.
Funny enough, Bobby, there's actually something crazy going outside my door. I gotta go.
Okay. That sounds good. Well, I'll do the sign off. That is all good.
All right, bye.
As always, thank you everyone for spending the time with us this week. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us a like and a comment if you're able, and tell us what you think about Interstellar while you're down there. If you haven't checked us out on other platforms, we are available on YouTube and Spotify. You can subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us and rate us 5 stars on Spotify if you think we deserve it. Stay tuned for another episode in the coming week. We will have something good cooked up for y'all, hopefully again. And again, we sincerely appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Have a good day and an even better night. Peace.